Hello everyone, welcome. It's exciting to see you all here. You're all excited to start your nursing studies, so I'm really pleased to see so many of you here today. Before we start anything official, I'd like to introduce Associate Professor Carleen Thornton, who will do an acknowledgement of country before we progress.
Good morning everybody, so great to see so many of you, and young Willow here in the front row, who's only 4 months old with mum.
So I'm recording.
Beautiful. So Danelle will tell me what to do. I have to stand here because we're recording. So I just want to welcome you to Flinders University. As Danelle said, my name's Carleen Thornton. I'm the academic lead for nursing. Danelle is your course coordinator for the Bachelor of Nursing, but it's fantastic to see so many of you. We'll still have a few more people coming in, so if you can let them know where seats are, that will be fantastic. So Danelle's asked me to come and do the acknowledgement of country, which is very, very important. So Flinders University really takes this quite seriously, or does take it seriously, and so we acknowledge the traditional owners and custodians of the lands on which our campuses are located, and they are vast and many throughout South Australia and the Northern Territory. And these are the traditional lands of the Arrernte, Dagaman, the First Nations of the South East, the First Peoples of the River Murray and Mallee region, the Jawan, Kaurna, Larrakia, Ngadjara, Ngarrindjeri, Ramanjeri, Warramungu, Waterman and the Yolngu people as well. And so we honour their elders past, present and emerging. What I would like to do and recognise is the care and custodianship of the lands and waters that the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have provided over the last 60 to 70,000 years. And we're very privileged to be on Kaurna land here at Flinders University. We're very close to nature. We've got the gum trees. Occasionally you'll see a koala out in the trees, which is, I've seen 2 since I've been here. But those lands and waters are very important. And we can also, if you go up to the top campus, you can see all the way out to the Gulf of St Vincent. So I really appreciate the care and custodianship and the connection that Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people have with country, and certainly we are the beneficiaries of that today. I'd also like to acknowledge that the lands that we're on are unceded lands. So that's it from me. I'm going to go a little bit rogue. Danelle doesn't know I'm going to do this. But I just want to say, if at any stage you have questions or you're not sure about what's going on, please stop and talk to me. I've got orange glasses, so you won't miss me, okay? Danelle is your course coordinator. You're going to meet the year level leads. We've got our teaching program director here as well. You'll have your topic coordinators and you'll have your tutors and there's student reps. Please don't feel that there is no reason why you shouldn't be able to come and talk to any one of us as an academic team or people who are here to support you. We certainly encourage it. We know sometimes it's a really massive transition to go from what you might have been doing, working full-time, or even just coming straight out of high school to studying and taking on that role as a student in a full-time or part-time capacity. So please take advantage of us as individuals who are here to support you and ensure that you will do the very best that you can, because we want you to succeed. So I hope you have a great orientation with Danelle and the team today. If you do see me, say hello. I won't remember names, but just say hello. I saw your orientation and just let me know how you're going, all right? And some of you I might actually get to be teaching, which will be fantastic, all right? So I hope you have a great day and welcome to Flinders University and the Bachelor of Nursing. We're really pleased that you're here with us. So I'll hand you back to Danelle. Thank you.
Thank you. I feel like I don't have anything further to say. That was fantastic. I will allude to more of that as we go along today as well. Right. So, as was mentioned, my name is Danelle Arthur, so I am the nursing coordinator, so I oversee sort of the program. I'm also one of the senior lecturers, so I'm teaching into one of the first year topics, but I also teach a second year topic as well. So, and I'll wander around campus, and again, much like Carleen said, if you see any of our staff around, make sure you do say hello. So today we've got quite a lot to get through. I don't want it to be a death by PowerPoint, so I'll try and keep you as amused as I can. But we have initially a whole bunch of slides just for some basic stuff about enrolment and things. I'll talk a bit about nursing. We'll have a bit of a break, so you can have a stretch, and then the placements team will come in, which is what probably you're all here waiting for. Have a discussion about placements and what happens there, and then towards the end I'm going to talk about all the services that are available to support you on your journey today. Firstly though, I would like to introduce some of the key staff members. Some are here, some are not. People, please come in and find a seat where you can. Some of these staff are here and some aren't, as I mentioned. Professor Michelle Miller is our Acting Vice President and Executive Dean currently. Professor Tiffany Conroy, who wanted to be here, is our Deputy Dean for Leadership. She also works in a role as a Director of Nursing with Sarlan, so in partnership with the Flinders over there. Senior Lecturer Guy Peacock is over here, hands up there. Guy is one of our senior lecturers in the postgrad space and also undergrad space, and is the Teaching Program Director. He oversees the implementation of policy and education strategies within the college. Who else have we got? We've got Associate Professor Carleen Thornton, who's our academic lead, who introduced herself, also works across some leadership topics in the postgrad space and in the undergrad space as well. Some important context. So we have quite a lot of support in place for you. So we have different levels of leadership. Given that our cohort's so large, we've got coordinators for each year. The first year coordinator, Rebecca Rose, sitting down here down the front. Second year coordinator is Dr. Omar Smarty. And our third year coordinator, Kim Mildy, wasn't able to be here because she's teaching at the moment. But they will be your core contacts as well if you need to escalate anything. Further down in the presentation, I'll go through a flow chart of who to speak to at what point, and their emails will come up at that point as well. Our placement education coordinators, Jodie Price and Dr. Ying Yu. I think Jodie is turning up a bit later on, about 10:30, around about when we do that area, so you'll meet Jodie then. But Jodie and Ying are the two people that you will deal with mostly when you're discussing placements, if it is not the placements team directly. Also here today, we've got Luke, down the very end, who's our enrolment and course advisor. You may find yourself speaking to Luke about your study plan, if you need to wriggle things around or change to part-time or something like that. And also Crystal, who is the coordinator of enrolment and student progress. So they're two people, two of the many people who are downstairs in the student admin area who will be able to help you. And I've got some contact details further on in the slide that relates to that as well. So there's a big team available to guide you and help you out. And as Carleen said, if you've got questions, ask, because we don't want you sitting at home thinking, I wonder what I should do here. I wonder how someone can help me, because there is an answer for you. And even if you send it to me or you send it to someone and it's the wrong person, they will forward it on, so it'll eventually get to the right person to answer your query. All right, now there's the death by PowerPoint bit. So settle in. So this is all about getting your essentials organised. Now, I appreciate as I was putting some of these slides together, and many of these are generic slides for orientation across the whole college, that a lot of this stuff I'm hoping that you've probably already got organised. And if you haven't, there will be some contacts and some details about how to do that as we're going along. So, Wi-Fi, you should all have figured out by now. Welcome, everyone. You should all have figured out by now that it's pretty easy to stay connected at Flinders. Our network is the EDU Roam, so you should be able to find that on your phones or your tablets that you have, or computers when you join up. So this means that you can connect, wirelessly if you're at another medical facility or you're on campus, so that you've got immediate access. You will find that, you have a FAN, so everyone should have a FAN by now. So that is your Flinders authentication number. That will stay with you for the whole degree, and that is usually the first 3 or 4 initials of your surname and some 4 numerical numbers. So try and memorise that, and I think in one of the first year topics you'll be taught how to put that on the bottom of your signature. Okay, and there's that email on screen. I did see some people snapshotting it. Please be aware that I will upload these slides for you onto the BN course page, so you will have access to them if you don't get a photo of what you need to get at this point. This page, your Student Flinders page, this is a one-stop shop basically for you, and it takes you through to a Compass site as well. And on this Compass site will take you through to areas where you can order your card. It outlines orientation activities that are available down here or up at the hub. There are study support links on there, there are resources on there, there are exam dates. I've got on here latest information about COVID, but I'm not sure where we're at with COVID these days. Exam information, key dates, all those things that you as a student really need to know. There'll be links to your flow sites and all those sort of things. So it's really important that you get familiar with these the online site, so you can see what resources are available to you. All right, because there are so many resources available, which I'll go through towards the end, that are here to support you with your studies. All right, because as Carleen identified, we want you to succeed. All right. You'll also find a personalised timetable when you go through this area and you go through to Compass to find those links. All right. A student ID card. Has everyone got one so far? Some nods, some like no. So you do need to have a student ID card through your time at Flinders. You should really be carrying it on you at all times, whether you're part-time or full-time. You will need this if you need to borrow books, if you need to photocopy, if you've got exams, you might need to have it there on your desk, so you need to have this for you. You can order your card and it will be sent out to you. That is available on your dashboard on your Flow site. All right, so you need to make sure that you have got that organised. That's actually really important. If you've enrolled in the last 24 hours or so, there might be a bit of a delay with that, so just be aware of that. Does anyone have any questions about things like that at the moment? If you have questions... Oh, okay. Yes. Yes, I did just say that. It'll be on the BN course. I will download it. Yeah, this will be downloaded. It's being recorded, so it's being downloaded onto the BN course page. Okay. All right, because I know it's a lot to take in, and some of it's, not that exciting, so you might zone out until the really exciting bits come about. Enrolling and registering. So classes, I'm not going to read what's on screen because I know that you can all read, which is why you're here. Really ideal to enrol in classes as early as you can, and ideally for the whole year of the topics that you're in. That way you get to pick the classes that you want to be in. All right, so we have classes at all different times. Mostly they might start at 8 a.m, 11 a.m, 2 p.m, so you need to think about what might work with your lifestyle and get into those classes early. We usually cap our classes at 30 because that allows a really good experience for you. So if a class is capped at 30, there is no more space there. So get in early to the classes that you want. There was likely to be multiple classes available at times, depending on how many students are in that class. So just something to keep in mind. When you are enrolling and registering, make sure you look carefully at the modality. So that means, whether it's face-to-face or it's online, and also at the campus location. This year we are doing some first-year classes from the very shiny campus in the city, the Flinders City campus. There are some topics that are doing a couple of classes there. We're doing that, and probably as of next year we'll probably trial some of the second year classes there as well. So make sure that when you're enrolling, that you're enrolling in the correct location and the correct modality that you want to be in. I do get some students who find themselves enrolling in the Riverland. That's 3.5 hours away. It's a long way to go for classes. So don't enrol in the Riverland. It's only for students who are domiciled out in that region. What else have I got? That's about it for that slide. This is really, and again, I'm not going to talk to every slide. This is about you being familiar with your environment. So you might hear us talk about your flow site. We might call it Canvas, but basically it just means that it's your learning program that you're on. So when you go onto your computer and you log into Flinders and you get to your topic, that's your Canvas site or your flow site. All right, so it's just some terminology to be aware of. Your topics should be available now. Who's been into their topics? Yeah, lots of excited, yep. Good idea to get in there, see what assignments you've got to do, check out the modules, start putting your calendar together. All right, it's available this week for you to have a bit of a peruse, and you'll find that each of your topics will be available a week before they actually open for you to start classes. All right, good chance to see and there's usually a nice warm message from your topic coordinator, so you can see all the videos, you can see who they are, what they look like, get all your contact details from your classes, have a look at how the site works, what all the buttons mean when you're pressing them. All right. In the first year topic, which most of you will be doing, I think we go through some of that, what this button means type arrangement. In here today, by the way, there's students doing the 3-year pathway, which is our Bachelor of Nursing undergraduate degree. Are there enrolled nurses here doing the UC? Just little hands up. Yep. Okay, so we also have the 2-year pathway for our enrolled nurses, so there'll be things in here that are also relevant for you coming into the program. Scholarships. Oh, I can't. Look, just apply for one. If you can. You don't have to be a top grade student. Some of them you might need to, have some good grades. So when you get to second year, perhaps you're applying for some scholarships and they might look at your grades, for example. But there's lots of scholarships that are available. So I know that I've got the site up there for you, and there'll be a link probably on your campus site to that as well. But scholarships are really handy for you, especially because I know that a lot of people work at the same time as they're doing their studies, and you might find that you are eligible for one. And how will you know unless you try and apply? So they're really handy. Sometimes they're just for 1 year. There's also scholarships that aren't actually on the Flinders site. So if you're out there and motivated and you're searching on Google for scholarships for nursing students, there are other scholarships that are out there available that can help to fund your studies. And it does come into play a little bit when when you're doing your placements. Maybe you can't work, although the government has put in that new incentive that will pay up to, I think it's $319 a week, which is means tested, for students on placement from July onwards. So that kicks in, and there's information on the Flinders site about that as well. But yes, scholarships, have a look at it. It's a nice opportunity to get a bit of extra money to help you buy those books or help you out with your studies in whatever element of your life that you need that. I know that I spoke to someone recently in the Riverland, and they were doing work in aged care, and I know that they'd been offered an aged care scholarship on the basis that when they finished they would go out back into aged care and contribute to that community as well. And so things like that are opportune as well. So even if you're in the industry, you might actually be aware of some opportunities that are out there. So again, if you don't ask, you don't get. Transport. There's not much to say here, really. It depends, where you live. We are actually located in a prime area. We've got that great train station that's just literally down the road. We have this free loop bus which goes from car park 13, which is 14 on the other side of the campus there, that goes up to the Sturt, up to the hub, and there's one that goes over to Tonsley, so that's really good to help you get around. It goes up and around the Flinders Medical Centre as well. Again, the train station, if you happen to live south and you are doing a class in the city, it's just it says 20 minutes, but yeah, it's a nice, quick, lovely trip into the city, and the train station's next door to the Flinders City campus. So walk out one door and then you walk into the next door. Obviously there's buses that go past all the time to the city. Do get a parking permit organised. I will tell you that if you bring your regular car in with the parking permit, that's great. If you happen to borrow mum or dad's car or your brother's car or someone else's car for the day, and that rego is not registered with the parking people, you will get a fine if they pop past your car. So make sure that you sort of stay up to date with the V permit with your parking here. Security. All right, this is important, and it's important enough that they've put the phone number on the back of your student card. If you feel unsafe at any time on campus, there are hotlines that you'll find just placed around the campus, so you can pick that up and it connects automatically to security. Otherwise, have that in your speed dial if you feel that you need it. Important, if you see anything around campus that you feel might be unsafe, if you feel unsafe, perhaps you're here being studious students and you're in the library till 10 o'clock or something like that and it's dark outside, you can ring security to escort you to your car if you feel unsafe. All right, so they're there to make sure that you feel safe on campus for any reason. All right, so make sure that you are aware of that. The security office is next to Flinders Connect in the plaza. Down here, you'll see security wandering around, and again, hotlines, or just phone them and they'll answer straight away. All right. This relates to these posters that are down below about safety for students generally. This is not just about the previous slide, walking to the car park, etc. It's about any sort of harassment that you might experience on campus. There's just a zero tolerance for that. So as you can see there's also the QR code up there as well. For any reason, okay, if you feel unsafe, and this is for staff as well, for staff and for students, anyone on campus, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that happens to you. You might see it happening to a student colleague, and we want to make sure that we protect those people as well. So if you find anything, making this report, again, it says doesn't initiate a complaint, but it's the first step to start a conversation to action something, all right? So really important, and we take it very seriously. Come on in, people. We are low on chairs. But yes, again, this is a really important part we have, and you'll find that this will be advertised. Again, these posters through your topics. Our Work Health and Safety Officer, Hilla, is really passionate about this topic, and you'll find that there'll be posters around the place as well. Student administration. My people have disappeared now. The people I was referring to before are part of our SAS team, our student administration team downstairs. Just more about some of the terminology, really. You might have been put into a bundle. So we have bundles A and B, and what that does is it stops a lot of our topics sort of overlapping, or we certainly don't have placements overlapping with theory topics. So you might be put in a specific bundle, and then therefore your placement will be in a specific area, which I think is on one of the next slides. As I've been advised, so this slide is from them, they've said to make sure that you enrol in all of your topics, again, for the full year. Don't wait until mid-year. If you can enrol in all of them, get it all done now, get your calendars organised. First semester, so as a first year undergrad student, so this is not the enrolled nurse pathway, first year nursing students, for your first semester only, will be like normal semester. 12-week topic, okay? So you have 4 12-week topics. That's the only time that nursing conforms to semesters, and then we work on non-semester 1 and non-semester 2, which means that you will be doing topics outside of that. And thereafter, most of your topics will be 6 weeks. 6-week intensive topics, which I'll talk a little bit about when we get to the nursing area. That handbook link is also on your Flow or your Canvas site to have a look at. That's also freely available on the internet. That will take you through to talking about some key dates for your topic, like census date. Census date is a date which I believe the admin will email you and tell you, hey, census date for your topic is this date. And basically what that date is to tell you that this is the time when you can withdraw if it's all too much without financial or academic penalty. All right, so financial penalty means that you're not going to lose your HECS money, and academic penalty means you're not going to get a fail on your transcript, it's just going to be removed. All right, and so usually at that point, and I'll talk this a bit later in one of my other slides, usually at that point you will have figured out that it's all too much or you can handle it. All right, so we'll talk, that's about census. Those 2 emails down below, the Ask Flinders and the College Admin Office, any inquiry you have, anything, when in doubt with any inquiry, send it to NHS Inquiries or through the Ask Flinders. A lot of these things find their way to me, and I will just find the right person for you. So, bundles. This is a nice picture that might explain a bit better what I was saying. Do I have my mouse up there? Yes. So you'll see in blue, so this is bundle A. These topics here that I'm highlighting, these are the 12-week topics for first year. 1020, 1021, 1022, 1023. You'll see that they're 12 weeks. Then that person who's in bundle A will find that they then come down here and they're doing 1024 and 1025 as a 6-week topic. That AO simply means it's either available in person, which is A, or it has an online class which you can also enrol into, one or the other, not both. Then that person will come into here. This is an in-person class, 1026, and then down here is their placement topic. Okay, AO means that for your placement topic, which I'll talk a little bit about the topics later, there's online classes, or you choose to come to a face-to-face class. All right, the I there is an intensive. We'll talk about that soon, just so you can get the context. And anything red cannot be moved. That's the placement. That's where it is. So that particular one for your first years, here there's actually 3 placement blocks because they're 2 weeks in first year. In bundle B, it's the same, but they're just, the topics are at different times. All right, and so they have been scheduled to make sure that we don't have 800 students in one class and that they're spread as well. So you'll find yourself in one of the bundles. And if you're in bundle A for semester 1, it'll follow through for the same semester. I've put this in here for the enrolled nurse pathway as well, acknowledging that they've got that cohort here as well. And you'll see first years when you're looking at this, these people, this will be you, 6-week topics. So this is what a first year will look like for the enrolled nurse pathway. There's 6-week topics. You'll note as well there are no topics that overlap into one of the red placement areas. We don't have students doing theory topics or working while you're on placement. All right, so that's what an example of your bundles might look like. All right, let's talk about the good stuff, shall we? All right. So talk about a little bit about nursing stuff now. I haven't even followed on my notes. And then I'll try and keep an eye on the time. We'll have a little break for a stretch, and then our placements people will come in. So, nursing. This is an example of a study plan. So you might get sent something like this by Luke, who was here earlier today, who I introduced you to. And this can change. So this is, again, the BNGU, so our 3-year pathway. In this program, there is 108 units of study, so 19 topics that you will study. Again, I've also put here an example of what a part-time study, you've got fun? What a part-time study plan might look like for those first-year topics. Okay, so if you're studying full-time, you can just look at this side. However, these topics here I've split over 2 years if you're doing it part-time, okay? Because some people study part-time, and that's okay. So your study plans, they may change over the years. It will usually depend on things such as, for example, the red words on there are prerequisites. So prerequisites means that to be able to do that topic, you must have passed whatever that topic is in red there. So if for some reason you were unsuccessful with the prerequisite, you might not be able to do that topic in that semester or when it's available. So they might need to remap your study plan so that it might change slightly over the 3 years depending on if you are successful or not with every one of your subjects. All right? And sometimes people aren't, and that's okay. All right? We'll work around it because blips happen and things happen and sometimes it's not possible and maybe you just didn't realise how much you needed to commit to a topic or whatever reasons that a person's been unsuccessful for. All right, so we can always find a way around it. A full-time degree, you've got, it's a 3-year degree full-time, but you've got 6 years to complete it. All right, and sometimes students need that for whatever reason, even when they're on a full-time load for whatever reason. So there's a 6-hour accreditation allows you to finish this in 6 years. Was there something? Yep. This is the BNGUC, so this is the enrolled nurse pathway. This is your 2 years full-time, basically. And again, you guys can do it part-time as well. I've just put your full-time load up here so you can see what you're doing. I'll just go backwards one. I'm going to talk about this more in more detail, but you will notice that you've got 8 topics in semester 1. Sounds like a lot, but these are really good foundational topics which will give you a firm understanding going forward. Slightly less in second year, and then third year, it looks like you've got it easy, doesn't it? But third year, you've got quite a lot of placements, or 2 big placements, so therefore we can't put lots of topics there for you. Everyone's left me now, I note. All my people have left me. Okay, let's make sure I don't go rogue now. So, talking about those topics. In first year, and because there's lots of exciting topics, and some topics Some people are going to find more exciting, and some you might just find you struggle through, but you just need to get through it, all right? You don't need to be a 90% student. You just need to get through with your 50%, because we know that you'll be able to scaffold in other topics and on your placements. In first year, you'll be doing Australian and the healthcare system. This is specific to nursing. In this topic, you'll learn all about where you fit as a registered nurse in the Australian healthcare system, what your role and responsibility is, goes through talking about some of the codes and the standards that we work under and the ethics that we work under, and that actually form our structure of how we practice. Communication in nursing, that's self-explanatory. That's talking about communication. You know, we communicate with people differently, like how I might speak to you would be different to how I speak to my child, would be different to how I might speak to the dean, for example, and the sort of things that we might talk about and what's acceptable. So that's a core topic for you to do. What else have we got? First year. Anatomy and physiology. You need to know what bone's connected to which bone. While you're doing AMP, you'll be doing health assessment at the same time. All right, so in AMP, you might be learning about, I don't know, what the lungs are. Where are they? What do they do? In health assessment, you'll be learning about how to assess those, how to use a stethoscope, what are you listening for. So you have those two things. They're mostly set up the same so that they make sense for you. Learn about what this does, learn about how to assess it, why you're assessing it, all right? Really important, especially because you'll be going to your first placement. There's also a big focus on our First Nations health and cultural safety, and there's also our research and evidence-based practice topic. Now, thank you for that. The research topic is a really important topic. Not everyone loves it, but that's okay. There's a lot of topics not everyone loves, but it's a really important topic because not every nurse or every student is going to work in clinical. Most of you will, but there'll be some students who go, oh, I love research. I wonder why they do that. I bet I could do that better. I bet I can find a way to do that better. And so that research topic is just a little taster, and we need to make sure that we account for all these different areas that you might choose to work into. It also will help you out with learning about how to search for journals and things like that, which you'll need to be able to do for your research focus, because most of your topics you'll need to be able to research journals and find evidence-based practice support to support whatever it is that you're going to be talking about. So, and then you do your first year placement. 2-week placement, usually in aged care, something subacute, just to get you used to, shift work, patients, and that sort of thing. Once you get into second year, we focus more on the real chunky stuff. Pathophysiology, that's my topic. So, one of my topics. Pathophysiology, which is disease processes like, chronic kidney disease, diabetes. What is it? What's happening in the body? All right. We also combine pharmacology with that as well. So we want to know about that disease process. Then I'm going to teach you about what medications we use, how they're fixing that. How does that medication work in the body? All right, because they're important, because you're not just going to look after someone's sickness, you're actually going to look after giving them medication, and you need to know all the safety around that. You need to know how the medications work. And then nursing care is embedded quite strongly with that as well, okay? Why are you doing something? You don't just do it because you're told to. You have to have the rationale. Why am I giving this medication? Oh, I see. It's going to fix that sign and symptom that they're experiencing. Okay, that's good. We want you to have that connection. So there's 2 patho topics in second year. Big one in semester 1 and then another one in semester 2. Okay, so between the 2 you have all the body systems covered. Physical and mental health, again, really important. People don't come to hospital just with a broken bone that you're looking after. Quite often they have lots and lots of other things going on. We need to make sure that we are looking after those elements of the person as well as the broken leg. So we teach you a lot about that as well. Guy, who is our teaching program director here, runs the quality and safety in healthcare, so making sure that we're building your understanding of the national safety and quality health standards, which underpin your nursing values and your nursing skills. So you need to have a really good understanding of that going out. Legal and ethical principles as well. So again, all those chunky elements. And amidst all this in second year, you'll do 2 4-week placements. Okay? for second year. Then third year, this is the big year where we want you to pull it all together, pull all your knowledge together, get some clinical reasoning and some critical thinking going. You're like literally a step before you're graduating. All right, so we'll do 3010, which is the professional nurse. Really good topic. Again, talks about the underpinning standards that you'll be practicing under. So it places you, again, in industry, knowing what you have to do and what rules and processes and things that we're guided by. Within that topic also, you'll learn how to write a CV, how to apply for the TPPP program. All right, so that is that first year supported program out in industry. And usually the applications will go out in June, so we get you ready for that in that topic. We get you primed and ready for your application. Okay, so that's why that one's important. Then you do an 8-week placement. You're feeling pretty nursey by now, yep, with 8 weeks under your belt. And then you have only one other topic, which is care for the person with complex and chronic health needs, something like that. And that's just that's another really important topic. We want you to know all elements, and that's about it's about keeping people outside of the hospital, care outside of the hospital, and the role that you have as a nurse with respect to that. So there's a lot happening in those 3 years, but at the end of it, we sort of hope that we will have given you a taster and enough knowledge that you will basically hit the ground running in a generic ward. Okay? We don't prime you to be a paediatric nurse or an oncology nurse or an orthopaedic nurse. We give you the skills so that you will be able to go out there and apply for a job on a general ward as a registered nurse. Okay? You then will do further studies. I know you don't think about it at the moment, and it's not even going to cross your mind at the moment, but you will. You'll find yourself in a little niche area and go, I want to specialise in this, and you'll find yourself doing a graduate certificate or a graduate diploma or more. Okay? A bit about classes. It's really important to come to class. Really important to be part of this community. If nothing else, it's motivational for you. I say that because classes are not compulsory in most of the topics. They are certainly compulsory in intensives, in the labs. They are certainly compulsory for your placements, and certainly compulsory if you have an in-class test or an exam. But apart from that, they're not. You're adults. Okay, so it's up to you. However, it is strongly encouraged. We work on a flipped classroom. So what that means is that the topic coordinator provides you with content in your flow site. This is what we're doing in Module 1 and Week 1 this week. We're going to learn about this, we're going to talk about this, and there'll be lots of information on there. When you come to class, we plan our tutorials. We do activities to consolidate that you know that knowledge. All right, so at the end of that tutorial, you walk away going, yep, that makes sense, that has really added to what I actually read about. So coming to class is actually really important. It's a great chance to network, okay? Find some colleagues that you might have study groups with. It's a good chance, it's a good opportunity for you to get to know your tutor. Obviously we have very large topics, so I had 600 students in my topic last year. I can't teach 600 students at once, so I have tutors. So your tutor is the person who will be teaching you, so you will have a tutor, that one person who's your contact for those 6 weeks. They're not your sole contact, they're just your class contact. You would still be able to go to the topic coordinator with issues. All right? And be aware that as tutors, so I might have, say 10 tutors in my class. As the topic coordinator, I make sure that every tutor has exactly the same material, they've got exactly the same PowerPoints, they've received exactly the same information, so that every student, regardless of what tutor they have, receives the same equitable information. All right? All topic coordinators will provide their tutors with the same information. They get given a tutorial guide, so they know what we have to talk to. All right? And that's really important for consistency. Class sizes. As I said earlier, we only have 30 as a maximum in a class. Okay? This allows for group work. It allows for you to develop a good relationship with those people in your class and to develop a good relationship with your tutor. All right, so you can have some one-on-one time and sort of get to know them, especially when you're asking about your assignments and things like that. Do you guys want to grab a seat or something, or sit on the stairs? I don't know, there's no stairs, are there? There's some stairs if you want. Aside from your theory topics, you will find that there are 5 placement experience preparation topics, which I'm just going to call PEP topics because I don't want to say that all that long stuff again. 5 PEP topics. These are, your placement topics. So before every placement, you will do an intensive week here at Bedford Park. It's 4 days, okay? And during those 4 days, which are compulsory, you will go to the labs doing shift work. You'll either be 8 to 2 or 2 to 8, all right, because we have lots of students to get through. And we're giving you a bit of a taste of some shift work. During your intensives, you'll learn skills, you'll shower patients, mannequins, you will administer medications, you will do skills like subcut injections, put up medications, might put in a catheter into a mannequin, you might do dressings, you'll do all the sort of skills that you might be expected to do while you're on a placement in that particular scope of practice. And then on day 4, there's an assessment. Everyone gets really, really nervous about it. But you don't need to if you know your stuff. You don't need to get nervous if you've come to class, you know your information, and you've done the previous 3 days in the intensive, okay? Because we're not going to test you on anything new. So in that intensive, in that intensive OSCE or that assessment time, it's about 20 minutes, and you'll be given a scenario, all right? Now, we understand students get really nervous, and they get super nervous. I understand that. It is high stakes because you have to pass that to be able to go on placement, because that little test there for 20 minutes is a culmination of the week and tells us that you're safe for practice. We cannot send you on to a placement if you have not been able to demonstrate you can practice safely in our lab environment. Right? Our lab environments are a nice, safe environment. Mannequins don't die, all right? So you can make mistakes and learn from it. It's a bit harder to make those mistakes in industry when there's real patients out there. So we make it a safe environment. If you make a mistake, we're not going to point at you and go, what are we thinking? We're just going to say, that's okay. What did you do wrong? What are we going to learn from this? Now let's do it in a safe manner, all right? So it's a learning environment. You're not set up there to fail. You're there to learn. So you've got your 4 days there. In first year, there's, I think, some med calculations. In second and third year, there are medical calculations in all those PEP topics, and that you must receive 100% to pass, because we want to know that you haven't, if you've only passed with 95%, then 5% of your patients have been maimed for some reason due to a clinical calculation error. So they're called NGP, so non-graded pass. You must pass your medical calculations. There are multiple attempts. Within reason, we're not going to give you 1 million attempts. So there's usually, you get 3 attempts. You do it. Most students just quickly do it the first time, and then they fail, then they get really upset. I really got to focus the second time. Then they do it and they get it right. That's fine. And if not, you've got a 3rd attempt. All right, so there's lots and lots of prep for that. There's a great program that we use, go through, and you can go through it as many times as you like before you actually choose to do your medical calculations. We put this in there because when you are a nurse in industry, you have to do medical calculation competency every year. So you might as well get used to it. So in all the placement topics, there are medical calculations, and they're usually NGP, which is non-graded pass. So it's just pass or fail that element. There is your intensive week in the labs, non-graded pass. You either pass or fail it. And then there is your placement, non-graded pass. You either pass or you fail it. In first and second year, there's no written assessments in these 2 PEP topics, in the PEP topics. All right, so we want you just to focus on your skills and actually getting through. In third year, however, we do embed, case studies, essays, whatever it is that they've got in there at the moment, because that's to help you push up your GPA, okay? So that's also an element where in third year, we want you to show us that connection further. So the third year placement topics are a bit heavier because you have got assignments to do as well. Show that critical thinking, demonstrating theory to practice, really important stuff, all right? And again, there's lots of guidance on it, so don't get too fretful about the sort of assignments that we have. We have everything from essays to case studies to you might have to upload a presentation or an oral presentation, so talk to something. There's a lot of variety in assignments as well. If anyone has questions, just ask me. Put your hand up as we're going along and I'll try and, since all my runners, the microphones have disappeared. Yes?
What about the graduate entry pathway is going to be the same with the enrollment pathway?
The graduate entry pathway? I'm doing an orientation for tomorrow for graduate entry. Yes. So a graduate entry is pretty much the same. It is similar. It's a cross between the enrolled nurse pathway and this one, and it's a 2-year pathway.
Is it the online one?
No, the graduate entry, just for some information, generally to students as this, generally. So we have our 3-year undergraduate degree, and we have the enrolled nurse pathway. Then we also have a graduate entry pathway. A graduate entry pathway is a 2-year degree for a student who has a bachelor's degree in something else. So they've been to university and they've got that proven academic background, and they come in and they do a 2-year degree. They also have to have done anatomy and physiology. So they have a 2-year pathway, which some of the topics are simply a culmination of your first year topics, so they kind of get all those 4 first year topics all in one topic. So we have a couple of different pathways. And again, I've got a whole lot of students coming tomorrow for that one. And that one also will be uploaded onto the BM page when I do that one. And it'll have a lot of this stuff in. The only changes will be talking about the bundles and the classes. Now I lost my space, but that's okay. Thank you for the question. So written assessments, compulsory, yep, done that stuff. Any questions about the topics? Anything about scared anyone? Any questions at all? All good, okay. Yes?
I just have a question for the timetable. I've already registered for all my classes and I can access it on that student website, but is there an easier way to see it, or is it best to go through that student and look at the timetable each week? Does that update classes or move from different...
Classes won't be generally moved at all, okay? So you have a look at your timetable, and whatever you've got on your timetable, that's what it is. If your class for any reason is moved for, public holiday, or I know 1 year, I think toilets flooded or something, so they had to move classes, you will be advised of that, okay? And it will all be clear through your emails. Yep.
Probably not more question for placements team, but you were saying that first year is more low acuity, so, but does that mean second year, but basically second year onwards with free reign onto ER?
Sort of. Okay, so yes, I did say first year is aged care usually because, usually we assume that it's first year, you don't have the skills, we've only taught you this amount of scope, so this amount of scope is really only for subacute or whatever. From second year, it doesn't mean that you won't be put into aged care in second or third year, and they will talk to that as well. Students seem to have this thought process that aged care is, oh yeah, that's really easy. It's actually really complex, okay? Aged care, there's lots of comorbidities. They have lots of things wrong with them, okay? And the mix and mash of drugs and the issues that occur are enormous out there. So second and third year, more acute. Third year ED, yep, not everyone's going to get an ED rotation. My background is emergency. So not everyone's going to get that. So it is expected, and as Jodie will talk to, there will be a huge variety. So she'll talk to that more. I'm not going to talk a lot about placements, but I'll leave it for her, and there'll be lots of question time for it. Yes? Great. No. So just because I'm on recording, I'll just repeat that. I've just had a student saying that she's spent many, many years working in aged care, and can she get credit for it? No, we can't give you credit for that, simply because we don't have a specific topic that's focused on aged care. As the course coordinator, I'll provide credit to students if it maps directly to one of our topics. It matches our learning outcomes, but we don't do a focus on aged care specifically. But thank you for asking. All right, let me go on to the next bit. So this is more about the communication pathway, I suppose, to talk to. I've just got some names up there, and again, these will be on the BN course page. When you're emailing your topic coordinator, it's expected that you use the email box that's in blue up there, because should they be away unexpectedly and you've sent it to, say you've sent it to my personal email, I'm not going to, if I'm sick, I'm not going to look at it. If someone else is looking after my topic for, say, 2 weeks because I'm not there, they won't have access to my personal email. They will have access to the topic coordinator box. So whenever you are sending correspondence to your topic coordinator, it needs to be across all the years to the topic coordinator box, regardless of who your topic coordinator is. All right? I do get, I think I have 3 email boxes that I have with the different roles that I have within the university, and I'm forever checking all of them, and I have students going in this one, and if I haven't answered in 5 minutes, they send it to my personal one. So don't expect your topic coordinator to answer you immediately. They may not be able to get to you immediately. They might have service roles, they might be in class, or whatever reason. If ever we're away, there's usually an announcement that we will put out on the site anyway to say, you know, I'm not here, please contact this person. So they are just some contact details and some people that you might come across. Again, you'll see I've put up here this BN course information page. On your dashboard, your Flow Canvas dashboard, on your dashboard, you should have a couple of automatic topics. This BN course information is, I suppose, my page that I put up there. I've got lots of information in there for you to peruse or look at. There's also an announcements page there, so try not to turn off your notifications for this one. I put a lot of job opportunities up through announcements. So this week I've put up about student reps, international student welcome week, and some other things that I've put up there this week. And so you would automatically get an email about that. Throughout the year, if job opportunities come up, whether it's if it's available for first years, second years or third years, so I'll specify that as well. I'll just put them up there. So quite often industry might contact us and say, oh, we're looking for AINs, or we're looking for personal carers, or whatever, must have one placement under their belt or something like that. So I'll put that up on there, so just look out for those sort of things. The communication network, that will also be up there. This is, and again, I'm not going to leave it on screen for ages, but it's just on screen so you can have an idea of who to contact, okay? Again, if in doubt, send it to NHS Inquiries and they will forward it to where it needs to go. But basically anything about placements, and these are all links on here as well, anything about placements go to placements. The placement education coordinators have a separate email, which was on the first slide. Timetable concerns, NHS Inquiries, anything about academic writing and that sort of stuff, there's the Student Learning Support Service, or SLSS. Issues with technology, which, you know, sometimes there are, there's a link there. So there's a whole bunch. This is part of a big, this is the second part on this page. This is more, and I wanted just to talk to this about terminology again, so just to clarify. A tutor, so here where it says if you've got queries about your topic, the assignments, blah, 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 due dates, or you're going to be absent from class, you email your tutor. All right, your tutor will be Mary.Smith@Flinders, whatever. Okay, your tutor has a name, and they will tell you their name in day one. A tutor, again, is the person who delivers the content that they're provided by the topic coordinator. So your tutor is your teacher in that class for 6 weeks. Or 12 weeks, whatever it turns out to be. The topic coordinator is the person who develops the topic, develops the assignments, approves extension requests, approves resubmissions, does all the administration grade side of it, and develops all the materials for your class. So whatever your tutor presents to you are materials that, as a topic coordinator, I've given to them to say, week 1, you're doing this, you talk about this, do this activity. That's a topic coordinator. So if you have a query, it goes to your tutor. If they can't solve it, they'll probably come to me, or you can come straight to your topic coordinator. All right? If it's an issue that's bigger than that, perhaps it needs to go to the year lead. So Beck Rose, Rebecca, was your first year lead coordinator. Maybe it goes to them because it's a bit bigger than that. All right? So usually the topic coordinator can solve it. Again, it goes down to the year coordinators. They might come to me about it. Or if it's really big, or even if it's not and you just want to talk to me, you do send me an email to the BN course coordinator. Okay? And I will get to it. I usually get to my emails usually within the same day. But I will look at your email and go, you know what, I think Beck can sort this out, and I might forward it to Beck. If it's really important or it's above that level, I will sort it out. All right? And again, if it's further than me and I'm not giving you a satisfactory outcome of what you would expect, then you can then put it through a complaints or an appeals area. All right, so that's again, that communication framework is on the course information page. Email etiquette, that's really important. You all have an email account, all right? So it's whatever your fan is at Flinders. Please send us emails from that account. If I get emails from, I don't know, Xena Princess Warrior at Gmail or gonefishing.com or hotpants55, I don't know, it's going to go to our junk mail and we're just not going to see it. All right, and it might be really important. I need an extension. This has happened, something. And it's in my junk mail. I don't look at my junk mail. So if it comes from your student account, it'll come straight to where it needs to go to at Flinders. So really important you use your Flinders account. Make sure that you're polite when you are wanting or requesting something. I am much more likely to reply very quickly to you if you are polite to me. If you're not polite and you're rude, I will probably send back an email to say that, you know, this is not professional behaviour and it's not accepted and it's not tolerated. Please watch your tone or whatever. Really important that you are speaking to people in a polite and courteous manner, no matter what. Even if you've got things going on in your life, like, just always try to be polite. Setting up your signature with your full name, student ID, the topics that you're doing, I think you'll learn that in 1020. I have a feeling that's in the curriculum to learn there. So make sure that you do that as well. Let me just see how fast I can read through these ones. I need to keep an eye on the time, of which I talk about time management. Okay, learning at university. This is about you. This is about asking questions, a lot that Carleen, when she went rogue, alluded to. It is about, if you don't ask questions, I don't know what's going on in your head, all right? You can't, it's just so hard when you come to a topic coordinator at week 6 of 6 to say, I've been struggling the whole time, because I can't do anything about it at week 6. At week 1 or 2, I can absolutely do something about it. I can absolutely, as a topic coordinator, put some support in place for you. Find out what's going on, see how I can help you. All right, so you need to ask questions. Coming to class again, best opportunity for you to learn. Historically, better grades, better chance of passing coming to class. I talked to you about the flipped classroom concept, about how that works. There are online, again, online might suit your lifestyle. If that's the case, make sure that you do come to the online classes and contribute so that you have an understanding. Face-to-face classes, highly recommend. I think they're really great, and it's a big win for Flinders. It's a big thing for us. And I came from teaching at Charles Darwin University, which was mostly online to external students. So coming here, it was interesting. Suddenly I had a class full of actual people to talk to, and it was very different. And the students really enjoy. You guys can come on in if you like. Don't stand outside. Please come in, and I want you to make sure that you're hearing everything. So the university learning is driven by you. I can't motivate you. I can do my best to motivate you, but I can't make you come to class. I can't make you do your work, and that part of it is really up to you. University itself is a different experience for everyone. So you might be a 17-year-old coming straight from school. You might be mature age onset, deciding kids are grown up now, I'm doing something for myself. You might just want a change in career. All sorts of circumstances, all sorts of students, all sorts of ages. I have a 72-year-old in one of my classes. And that's great. All right, so we have all different ages. People are doing this for all different reasons. ENs, upskilling. Okay, lots of different cohorts that we have. So we have a really diverse age range. We have a fabulously diverse multicultural cohort, which is excellent. And just remember, I get students in my class, usually the mature age students, who feel awkward. Oh, I feel so old in class. And it's like, it doesn't matter. Every person brings something to that classroom. Mature age people might bring experience, confidence with communication and things like that. Young students might bring innovative ideas. Like, everyone brings something to class. So come to class feeling valued, that you definitely bring something to class. All right? This might be the first experience for a lot of people, especially obviously those from school, or even mature age people who suddenly thought, I'm going to go to university. I'm going to be a nurse. Great, good choice. I did that as well. And sometimes university can be really overwhelming, especially when you first start. And it's like, oh, how am I going to do this? I've got to get the kids to school, or, oh, I've got soccer training. And everyone's got all these things. It's really hard that very first year at university to find the balance. Sometimes people have, maybe they live alone. They might live with other students. They might live comfortably at home with parents or parent, and have a roof over their head and don't need to work. Everyone's got different circumstances, so don't worry about what that person next to you is doing. Don't worry about their experience. Worry about your experience, okay? Your experience doesn't have to be textbook, because it rarely is. All right, so it is a different experience for everyone, and you need to find the balance that works for you. Okay, that balance might include you having to go part-time for whatever reason. I'll talk about that in a second. There are students who start out and they are super motivated, they're gung-ho, and they get that 3 years done, wrapped up, and they're done, and they're out of here, and they're working. Go them. There are students who might start out like that and then go, whoa, hang on a minute, I need to slow down here. And then they might go part-time for a bit. And then they might go full-time for the last year. But they get there in the end with the same result. All right? So it just depends what sort of student you are. You don't have to be like that person. You just be who you are to get yourself to the end. So don't compare yourself to someone else's journey, because it's not really about them, it's about you. Time management, which I'm doing poorly with today. Semester dates, you need to be aware. Did I put them in? I think I put them on the next slide. I did, go me. Semester dates, you need to be aware of these. As an adult learner, we might not tell you everything you need to know because you're an adult learner and we would be expecting that you would step up and do some of these things yourself. So you need to be aware of semester dates, and that we run from January to December in nursing. You need to know about what time your classes start, what date they start. Turning up 2 weeks later and saying, oh, I didn't realise, sorry, is not going to be a good enough excuse for extension requests and things, because it's expected that you know. So you should be knowing these things, hence the beginning slides, to be familiar with your sites. Holidays and times, which I know that placements will reiterate, hopefully. Do not book a holiday before your timetable is finalised. It's not ideal to book a holiday the week after, that shaded area of 6 weeks. It's not ideal to book a holiday the day after you finishes, because quite often an assignment's due that week, or you've asked for an extension request and it's due that week. A holiday, a cruise, I get this all the time. I've got a cruise booked, I'm going to miss 3 weeks of that 6-week topic. And I'm going to say to a student, oh well, you might have to withdraw and do the topic next year. We can't give extensions for 3 weeks because someone's on holidays, okay? We have hundreds of students that we need and placements we need to work around. So, holidays, weddings, I've got to go to Bali for 3 weeks for a wedding. That sounds great. However, I can't give you 3 weeks of extensions. So they're just some recent things. So please be aware that our policies will not support you if you go on holidays, saying that I need an extension request for 2 weeks. I'm sorry, because I'm going on a cruise. So you need to, I know it's difficult, but you need to make that commitment around your studies and have a look at your timetable and see where you can fit these things in. Hurdle assessments, yes, these are things that are NGP, which means you must pass them to pass the topic, and they are usually your placement topics. I don't think there are any other topics except the placement topics. There's some key dates that you need to be aware of. Talking about the census date, 4th of April, that is for your 12-week topics, semester, not non-semester. By the 4th of April, you will have figured out whether this is working for you or not. Okay, by then you will have thought, I am not managing very well, the kids don't remember my name, I'm wearing the same clothes, I can't do this full time. That's okay, you can go to part-time. If you decide before census date to go part-time, that's to withdraw, like, no, can't do this, I'll do it next year, that's the time to do it, okay? Then no academic, no academic and no financial penalty, okay? A lot of students will hex their topics. Last day to withdraw without failure, examination dates, so all those things again will be on your compass sites as key dates to remember. Okay, time management. I love these pictures, one of my desks look like that. The most important thing and the best advice I can give you going forward is time management. For you, it's about making sure that you fit in life, you remember to feed the dog, feed the kids, go to soccer training, and whatever else that you might have. Oh, go to work too, because most everyone works here. Yep, got to pay the bills, right? So you need to try and work out a routine for yourself. And sometimes it takes a couple of months, sometimes it takes a whole semester, to find the routine that's going to work for you. So I recommend map out your classes on a spreadsheet, on the fridge, on a whiteboard, whatever works for your brain to help you remember. Some people live by their phone and everything's on there. I don't know how that works. Some people have whiteboards. You know, it depends on your situation at home. Obviously, you're not going to put your whole timetable on the fridge if you've got a whole family. They don't want to see what you're doing. Have a space. Could be the corner of your room. Could be a spare room in the house. It could be a study. Somewhere where you go, when you sit there, your brain says, this is my study space. Okay, you need to have a space that facilitates you being able to study. Sitting at the kitchen table while TV's on and someone's cooking in the kitchen, I don't know how much you're going to take in. All right, so have a think about what works for you and find a space that works for you. Like I said, block out times, make sure you include reward times. If you find you've done your calendar and there's no space on there for you to go down to Glenelg for ice cream, go out to the movies with your friends, or go out to dinner, if there's no space on there for that, you need to make space for that. Otherwise, study becomes a drag and you become less motivated. So, sort your routine out, make sure you have a reward every week. Done that, yay, Sunday, going to watch the footy, or whatever. I don't even know if this footy's on Sunday. All right, start your assignments early. Oh, the amount of students who start their assignment the weekend before it's due. Do you want to be that stressed? I don't think so. So you've got access to your assignments now, and you probably don't have the knowledge to be able to do them, but you can put them in your diary and chart them, and you can allocate an hour every day or 3 hours on a Wednesday when you're going to look at that assignment and start constructing ideas, start asking questions. All right? When you do things in small doable chunks, it's so much easier, and by the time, before you even notice it, you're at the top of the mountain. Whereas when you try and do it the weekend before, it's so hard and it puts so much stress on you and pressure, and then you start doing things that might cause you to be unsuccessful, like cheating or something, all right? Don't put that pressure on yourself. If you have some sort of time management thing where you allocate, even if you go, oh, I've got class then, I'll do a couple of hours beforehand or after to look at that assignment now that that's all fresh in my mind. All right? So do things that are going to work for you. Okay? Again, don't forget your reward time. I can't stress this slide enough, really, especially the start assignments early. Okay? You have access to them. And it's really hard once you get to your 6-week topics, because in 6 weeks you might be doing 2 6-week topics at the same time. So suddenly you've got 6 assignments, so you do need to be organised. And doing a little bit each day or a little bit each week will take the pressure off immensely. We do have extension requests and things, so I'll just quickly touch on that. How much time have I got? Not much. Extension requests, okay, you get like 3 days without having to provide a medical certificate, but other than that, you need to provide us with evidence as to why you haven't been able to do this. If you need a week, I need medical evidence to say, Mary Jane's been unwell for a week. And it has to be before the assignment was due. It can't be after the assignment was due, all right? So we give you enough time in class, we give you enough information in class, we answer your questions in class so that you can get your assignments in on time, so that's a really important thing, all right? If you are struggling though, you need to talk to us, because if we don't know until that very last minute that you've been in hospital for 2 weeks, it makes it really hard for us to help you out with regards to things like that. Self-care. Really important that you look after yourself, much like, when you're on the airplane and they say, if you've got kids on board, use the oxygen yourself first, then look after them, because otherwise you won't be able to. Look after yourself. In nursing, you're going to be looking after sick people all the time, so you need to look after yourself physically and mentally, okay, and emotionally. You need to look after yourself. You're number one. You're not going to be able to dedicate yourself, motivate yourself to do studies or be a wonderful nurse if you haven't nurtured your soul, okay, and nurtured yourself. So really important things to do to help you to do that is, one, being organised. Straight away takes away a lot of stress, okay? Make sure you come to class, come to tutorials, join the community of your class. Don't fall behind. Like I said, really hard to catch up. Eat well. I'm not going to make you eat well. I figure you'll eat well. You can eat in class as long as you're not putting, having a whole picnic spread out or whatever. You can delicately eat in class. Sleep well. Sleep's really important. Highly underrated. All right? If you haven't slept well the night before, you're not going to be able to focus. If you're doing night shift at whatever job you've got and then you come to class, how much are you going to take in? So you have to think about things like that as well. Drink plenty of water. I've got a statistic here. Your brain is 73% water. So keep it watered, all right? Sleep deprivation is a really poor thing. Who's ever had a night when they haven't slept, especially catching a red-eye flight and stuff? You feel awful. And you just feel like you feel awful the whole day and you can't concentrate on anything else. Exercise. I'm not going to go and tell you to join the gym. I'm not going to join the gym. Exercise for you might be walking around campus. Okay, maybe you've been studying in the library for a couple of hours. Get up, walk around campus, go downstairs, buy a packet of something healthy. If you're at home, get out, go outside, go for a quick walk, get that blood going, re-energise your brain cells. Exercise is actually really important as well. About self-care, just identify early if you've got an issue, okay? Identify early to your topic coordinator. They're the person who'll be able to put some strategies in place for you. All right? I'm going to be up the front here if anyone's got any questions. I am going to... Oh, Jodie's here, but we're going to have a quick 10-minute break just for a quick stretch. Now, I know you're all going to want to be here for the placements talk, so I know you'll be back in 10 minutes. You don't have to, but certainly stand up to some star jumps if you want. I'm here if you've got a couple of questions, but we'll have a 10-minute break. I'll just turn this off and I'll step back from the microphone and race on. Okay? It is recording, I'll just step back from the microphone.
I think I'm in the wrong section. You okay? Yep. It's a bit late. Yep. And I missed the block of the my boss. But I okay. Yeah.
So you won't be going on placement for the end of the year?
Yeah. Yeah, I had a look on the calendar.
Yep.
But yeah, I've already missed the
Okay. So there's a block of 6 weeks and you'll be one of those 2 weeks of that 6 weeks.
and if it's patient, then my manager signed me off.
Because you're doing it as an RN student, not a parent.
Okay. Because I'm a medical carer.
Yep.
With mental age and everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for that.
No worries.
You got okay?
Hello.
You know about like the placement?
Yes.
Is it like in the campus or it's going to be like all around the...
Everywhere. I'll talk about that when we start talking.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
It'll be everywhere.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Yes, it's ready. Yeah, there'll only be a couple of slides to complete something else there, but that'll be it.
I may or may not be able to answer.
So they're not available?
No, they don't come
I
up.
don't have it in here. I had it on screen, yes, but I don't have it in here. Okay. I'm not sure why. So I'll contact the NHS inquiries and it will get sent to Luke, who was here earlier, just to say, I'm studying part-time, I'm unable to enrol into the second semester. Yeah, that was their thing to say. Second semester you need to be enrolled in this.
Yeah, well, I was looking to do it and it didn't come up.
If you're not, that's okay, because like we only put it on there to prompt students because many don't enrol. So it's easier for us when we know what numbers we've got.
I have a baby, so it's really important that I get the days that she's in childcare.
Yes, of course.
So yeah.
Yep.
So
Like
NHS
inquiry. So it's literally one word, or there's a link that you go to that's Ask Flinders, and will eventually make its way to Group.
All right, beautiful. Thank you very much.
I know they didn't have enough chairs.
No, they were outside.
I know. I keep saying come on in. I'll just see you.
Get up.
Like, it will pick it up. And then like so. With our calendars.
No, you can do part-time.
So like with our
Yeah. I didn't know whether you could do like 2 week placements instead of a week.
Unfortunately, we're guided by what the venues give us.
Yeah.
and that's why you can have like 6 years, because sometimes people need
I did originally sign up to do this all part time, and now I've picked up full time, and now I'm like part time.
You can
But
always change
I
it.
you can have a go.
Remember up to census? That's when is the best time to go. I can't do it. Like I tried to point out, it's like don't struggle if you don't have to.
Yeah.
You might be doing better. The circumstances different the following year. Things change. There's always a blip.
Always. Always.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
All right, and you're not the only one in that sort of position. We've got lots of us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go home and leave. Oh, okay.
I just have a question. I've got dyslexia, so I've raised some words, but like I don't have like still waiting for that to sit down. Is it something I should be talking to my tutors about when I ask my tutors? So I haven't sat down with her yet. Still waiting for
Well, I've been walking up because everyone left me.
Oh, I could have come.
Yeah. So this one, I just, as you're talking, I'll just scroll. So when I know that you've gotten to,
Yep.
and I'll just
I've
talk
got
about
the placement website up. So then once
on
we get
here
to
already.
that,
Okay.
Once we get to that slide, I'll just start
Yeah.
going through the
And so
placement site.
if you're talking
How
about
in depth do you want me to go? Not too in depth because otherwise you'll run out of time. I'll just
it's
show
okay to
them
bring it
what's
on.
there because I really want them to go and look at the site.
I reckon as long as you finish by no more than 11:30, I've got half an hour to go through.
I think there'll be
about
lots of questions.
Yeah, I know. So the quicker you get your spiel done, and then what? Because if you give me more questions, more time, I've got. I've got to go. This is what I have to get through. I'm going to go through just so you know. I know.
Okay.
I'm going to go.
We'll be sure
Student learning.
Yep.
Studiosity, library. She'll turn up, and I said 5 minutes only.
I actually met her. Was she the one that was in University the other day?
In what?
Was she not in University the other day? Was it?
No. She's I think she's got red hair, short red hair. Wellbeing, I don't even know what that one's about.
Yep.
Oasis. So I've got all those to get through.
All right.
And I can do that, I reckon, fast in half an hour. 'Cause I think tomorrow the BNGG is exactly the same. We don't do anything different with the BNGG.
Oh, because some guy was here and he was a BNGG and he said, should you come back tomorrow? And I'm like, what?
Oh, it's like, I don't
But he's
really
gone to do his thing.
Right. How's your sister?
I think, and then have a day of
How's 3O? How's topic?
Okay, let's do something. So assuming less than 3, they're with bare bones in the morning, so if you get any more sick leave, then less than 3. Bare bones. But we're okay? 3. I know. It's been a constant problem today. And I know Jo. Yes, she's been drinking. And that's what I'm going to do. This is a designated workload on you, and then, but as soon as Nina said, right, I'll have to cover, she said. She notified me.
All right. Yes, please. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. Hope you all had a good stretch, because it's pretty hard sitting down for 3 hours. I'm just going to introduce you to Jodie Price, one of our placement education coordinators, and she's going to give you lots of information, and there'll be some question time, so I'll have to run around the microphone. So we've got just under an hour for that element. Go for it, Jodie.
Hi everyone, how you going?
You got your microphone on?
Yep. Is that loud enough? Is it working?
I don't think so.
Okay. Now's it working?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just hold it, shall I? Okay, so I'm here to talk to you about the cool stuff. That's the placement stuff. Not that Danelle's stuff wasn't cool, but this is just a little bit more cooler, okay? So this is where you are going to link all of your theory to practice and go out into the real world and practice with real patients. I know, scary. And real RNs and real doctors, okay? So before you go out on placement, I don't know if Danelle's talked about this, but you'll have some labs. So Danelle's talked about the labs intensives. That's where I am today. This is why I'm dressed like this, okay? So in the labs, you'll practice skills, and then when you go out onto placement, you'll put those skills into practice in the real world, okay? So it's your ability there to link theory to practice. So it's the really exciting part of your degree, where you go out there and you actually do the real practice. So I know Danelle's mentioned that you shouldn't book holidays, and that is really, really important. Do not book any holidays in the year until you have your placement dates confirmed, okay? And generally that might be 4 weeks before your placement allocation time. The reason for that is that we are not flexible with the placement dates, unfortunately. Okay, so we rely on private industry and SA Health and Northern Territory Health to provide us with placement dates that fit in with our calendar. Okay, and we liaise with them to get those dates. So we can't move those dates because someone has a holiday. All right, so the simple thing is, don't book a holiday until you know everything is sorted out. And even then, sometimes things can change. Okay, so be really, really careful about doing that. So in terms of your placements, in first year, you will do a 2-week placement towards the end of second semester. So you'll do a topic called 1027, which is your placement topic. You will be in the labs for that topic, and you'll do 4 6-hour shifts in the labs in preparation for going out on placement. You'll then do a 2-week block. Generally that block in first year is aged care. Okay, and that's because you need to know those basic fundamental skills of how to wash someone, how to shower someone, how to help someone go to the toilet, how to feed someone, how to brush someone else's hair, things like that, how to brush someone else's teeth. Sounds simple, we can do it on ourselves, but try brushing someone else's teeth. A little bit more complicated, okay? So you will go into that environment and do those sorts of skills so that you have them under your belt for second year, okay? Once you get into second year, you'll do 2 4-week blocks. So you'll do a 4-week block in first semester and a 4-week block in second semester. And then in third year, you'll do an 8-week block in first semester, 8-week block in second semester. Now those placements are full-time placements. We don't offer part-time placements. They are full-time placements. So they are also over a rotating roster, because remember, you are going to be registered nurses. Registered nurses work every day of the year, every hour of the day. Okay? So you will be expected to work early shifts, late shifts, and night shifts. Yes, the dreaded night shifts. And even late early shifts, where you finish at 10:30 at night and then you've got to be back there at 6:30, 7 o'clock the next morning. Okay? This is nursing. We have to get you ready to be a nurse. If we made you work Monday to Friday, just day shifts, and then you go out and be a registered nurse and all of a sudden you've got to work earlys, lates, weekends, you're like, what's this? I don't want to do this. You've wasted 3 years because you didn't know what it was going to be like to be an RN. Okay? So we're getting you used to what it's being like to be an RN from the beginning. Okay? You will be expected to work also 7 days a week. Okay? So that includes weekends, that includes public holidays. All right? So I've got a group of third years about to go out on placement. They will be on placement over Easter. They will be on placement over that whole entire period and they'll be expected to work. Okay? Because that's what you need to do as an RN. All right? Now, at this stage, placements are unpaid. But I know the government has an initiative coming in July that placements, you will get some pay for that. I don't know how that's going to work. It will be means tested, I believe, but we don't have any further information. So that's something
up to $319 a week.
There you go. But will be means tested. Okay, so we don't know how that will work. That's supposed to come in July. Okay. In terms of our placement locations, so we send students across the whole of metropolitan Adelaide, aged care, usually for first semester, as I said, or first year. We do aged care in rural locations as well. We also do placements in the Northern Territory. So we do placements in Alice Springs, Darwin, Nhulunbuy, Katherine and Tennant Creek. Those placements are highly sought after placements and you have to actually go via an expression of interest to have those placements. They're really, really good placements. Okay? So we do aged care, we do large public hospitals, so RA, QE, Flinders, Lomac. We do private venues, so, Ashford, Flinders Private, Calvary, all of those venues. We go to prisons, we go to Yatala, we go to the Adelaide Remand Centre, and I have been to the Remand Centre. Fantastic experience there, absolutely fantastic. Okay. We do specialised mental health placements, we do specialised ED placements, ICU placements, theatre placements. We do everything imaginable. The only thing we don't do in this degree is mid. If you want to do mid, you've got to go do mid. Okay? So that's the only thing we don't do. Yes? So you'll still do an aged care placement. Yeah. So the question was, if you already work in aged care, what do you do about that placement? So you will still do an aged care placement because you're going to be there as a student registered nurse, not as a carer. So different scope of practice, different level of expectation. Okay, another question? Yes? No. So the question was, can you do it in the facility that you work in? And that's a no, because you work there as a carer one day, you go in there as a student RN the next day. They know you and they'll expect you to do things that you do as a carer, but you're not there in that role on that day. Does that make sense? So sending you somewhere where you work actually sets you up for a really poor placement experience because people know you and they have expectations about what your role is in your other role. Okay? So if you do work somewhere, let us know so we can make a note of that on the placement file. The placement team, there's a team of 4 to 5 people downstairs in the college office. They manage all of the placements. So they manage probably 7,000 placements a year. Massive number of placements. All right, so they will put a note on your file that you work in a particular area and they won't put you there. Okay, and that's actually really important. Okay, I've pretty well said everything I'm going to say there. I'm going to take you to the Placement Experience website now. So, just going to go here. So if you guys Google Nursing Flinders Placement and go to this site needs to be your little Bible for the next few years. Okay, so on here is everything you need to know about placements, absolutely everything. You need to memorise this site almost. Okay, so on here, the first thing I'm going to open is the placement calendar. So this provides you with dates on when your compliance is due. So for you to be able to go out on placement, you need to meet a series of documents called placement compliance. Off the top of my head, I would say 30 to 40 documents. Okay? They are documents that our venue partners require you to have. We don't set them. We don't say you need to have them, but the venues say you need to have them. Because remember, you are going out into the venues. So you're going to the RA, or you're going to the Northern Territory, you're going to the Royal Darwin, you're going there as a visitor. They're allowing you in their space. They need to know that you're trustworthy and that you've done everything you need to do to be a safe practitioner in that space. Okay? You're a visitor. So, these are the dates that you would require your compliance by. So you are NURS 1027, that's your placement topic. So your compliance deadline is here, the 11th of July. Now that sounds like a really long way away, but it's actually not, okay? It's only 5 months away, 4 months almost, because we're nearly in March. Some of these compliance things will take you up to 6 months potentially. Okay, and we'll go through some of them in a minute. So it's really important that you guys go home today and start having a look at what you need to do to meet compliance for 1027. Okay? If you don't meet compliance with all documents, we can't give you a placement. We're not allowed to send you on placement without meeting those compliance documents. Okay? So it means that you're spending money and you can't get a placement in the end because you haven't met your compliance. All right? Now, we know some people struggle to meet compliance for various reasons. If you are struggling, you need to talk to us because we can put strategies in place to help you. And if we don't know, though, if you don't talk to us and you're just late with your compliance, you just won't get a placement. All right? So compliance is so important. We will bang on about compliance until the cows come home. Okay? If you've also got a clinical orientation date, that is a date where there's an online meeting with your topic coordinator and with the people in your topic, and you meet and talk about placement. Okay, talk about the expectations of your placement for that topic. There is also, sorry, you've scrolled down.
Oh, sorry.
That's all right. There's rural preclinical dates for meetings if you're going to a rural location. Okay, so that document is really, really important. That compliance date is really important. Okay, you will get weekly reminders coming through in 1020 to start that compliance process now. Okay, you cannot leave it until the week before because you simply won't get it done.
And just reiterating about the start and end dates, like they are set in stone. You can't say, oh, I'm not free to start until a week later because it won't be possible. Industry sets these dates for us.
Yep. Okay, just going back here. So the other document here is your compliance checklist. So I'm not going to go through this in a lot of detail because I actually want you guys to go onto the website and print this off and start having a look at it. So this outlines every single thing you need to do, and it's a really long document. Okay? When you first look at it, it's quite overwhelming, but what you need to do is just work through it systematically, step by step, and you'll be fine. Okay? So it goes through things like, are you fit to practice? Have you got a medical condition that will prevent you from being able to practice at the required level of a student registered nurse? Okay? And you declare that. And then if you have, you meet with myself or my other nursing placement education coordinator that I share the role with, and we talk to you about strategies and what we need to do to help you. Okay? Other things on there are criminal history checks, so police check, NDIS check, working with children check. All of those things have to be current. You have to have BLS, manual handling, lots and lots of different things, and they all have to be done at a specific time. So you'll note down here on the side, there's an expiry date. So your police check will last you 3 years. So if you do it now, and you finish your degree in 3 years, you should be all good. You won't need to renew that. If you go to the Northern Territory, then you'll need to get a Northern Territory police check and an OCA card and some Hep A and some different vaccinations for the Northern Territory.
And if these expire while they're on placement?
If these have to be in date for the entirety of your placement, okay? So if I'm going on placement in September, but my manual handling will run out in August, I won't be allowed to go on placement, okay? All of my documents have to be until the end of the placement date. I know there's some questions coming up. Janelle will come around with that and I'll just sort of do a bit of a scroll through. With this TB screening, I'll note this, it's really important that you follow the instructions there. So you need to complete that online TB questionnaire before you start any vaccinations, because if you start your vaccinations, that might mess up your TB screening, okay?
I was just wondering if you've got your DHS clearances for unsupervised contact, are they still accepted?
So they have to, the wording on your DHS has to be the wording that we require, and that might be different in your role in your job. So you have to have a look at what your DHS says and then have a look at the website to see what ours says, okay?
If your manual handling is out of date now, or CPR, do we have to go out and do that ourselves, or does the uni hold like sessions of manual handling and CPR updates?
So the uni does hold sessions here with IntelliLearn. If you go down here, so I'll just take you back to the website. So if you go down here, it tells you about all of the compliance requirements, okay? So it tells you about fitness for practice, all of these things. If we go down to manual handling, and remember I said there is a lot, okay? So if we go all the way down to manual handling, if you click on that, it will give you information about manual handling and provide you with some providers that do the manual handling. IntelliLearn provides sessions on campus intermittently, okay? And you would have to go through that link, and that would probably have them on the website. Yep.
And if you keep the BN course page that I talked about announcements, that's one of the ones I'll put up. I'll promote the BLS and manual handling when it comes up and it's on campus. I'm just going to get everyone just to hold their questions till the end, because some of your questions might get answered as we're going along. I will do this one though.
Are you required to have a volunteer or paid employment working with Children's Check?
So the working with children's check needs to be what we require on the site. So if you go down here to the working with children, scroll down again, sorry, I'm probably making everyone dizzy. You go there and it will provide you with exactly what you need for your working with children, okay? Just going to go back up to the top here, because there's another document that you need to be familiar with. So we had the placement checklist, which is here. So you need to print that off, okay, and make sure you're working through all of those things, all right? Once you've done them, you can tick them off. Once you've completed everything, you upload that to InPlace, and we talk about InPlace in a minute. InPlace is basically the portal where you will find out where your placement is and who your placement facilitator is, because whenever you go on placement, you have someone looking after you. You have a facilitator. That might be a university-provided facilitator, or it might be a venue facilitator, okay? But you'll have someone working with you who will do your assessments while you're on placement, because when you're on placement, you need to do assessments, okay? So once you've finished that document, you will upload that to InPlace, all right? If you click here too, there's an InPlace user guide, which is really important to have a look at as well. I would print that off as well, okay? So that's another important document. Going back here, so this is a bit of a flow chart for your placement compliance. So if you're having problems with your placement compliance, have a look at that flow chart and it will tell you where you need to go to get help, okay? But your biggest area or the best person that you can go to for help with placements is down at the college office. There's the placement team, okay? And that's those 4 or 5 people that I talked about before. There is also an email address that you can email, and that's cnhs.placements@flinders.edu.au, and that's on this document and on this site. Okay? So it will tell you everything you need to know. If you need things like, it also provides you links to the checklist, so there's a link there for the checklist. If you click there, there's the link to the placement user, the InPlace user guide, and there's also a link here. So if you're having trouble completing your compliance and you're not going to meet compliance, You need to click on that link. It'll take you to a Qualtrics survey where you have to fill in your name and what the issue is around your compliance. And then we review that and decide whether you can have an extension or not. Okay? But the sooner you come to us, the better, and the more we're able to help you. Okay? Can't reiterate that enough. All right? So just come to us if you're concerned at any point, and we can assist you. All right. So just working down this site, I want you to go home tonight and I want you to have a really good look at everything on here, okay? Because this is going to tell you exactly what you need to do. So there's a student consent for placement PDF that you've got to download and then re-upload to InPlace. There's intellectual property, there's emergency contacts. So there's information there about your police check, okay? You would also need an international police check if you've lived anywhere in the last 10 years overseas, okay, for a prolonged period of time. Again, information on the website about international police clearances, okay? So like I said, this is really, really important for you to get your head around within the next few days, okay? And just start working through those compliance documents. So these NDIS clearance or these DHS clearances can take a while, especially at this time of year, because there's many people starting university degrees that require these placement documents. They'll all be applying at once. So these government agencies get quite overwhelmed with lots and lots of requests at this time of year. So I would be putting those things in ASAP. Okay, there's information there about your police checks as well. Aged care statutory declarations, TB clearance, we talked about the questionnaire. So that actually links you to an SA Health questionnaire. You complete that and it tells you if you need to have further action done around your TB status. So whether you need to visit the TB clinic for x-rays or whether you're okay to proceed. And as we go down here, there's information about your medication compliance. So I've got medications in my head because of the labs at the moment. Immunisation compliance. So if you open this document, it gives you information about your immunisations and Hep B. So a lot of you would have had Hep B vaccinations at school or as a baby. If you haven't had Hep B vaccinations, they can take 6 months. Okay, and remember it's now, 26th of Feb, and your compliance date is in July. Okay, that's not quite 6 months. So you need to be starting that now and contacting us if you haven't had Hep B vaccinations. All right, go talk to your doctor. There is a bit of a speedy process now for Hep B vaccinations that you can do with your GP as well. But then there's a whole heap of other information here about your vaccinations, and this document is what you need to take to your GP. So with your immunisations, you can go to the Flinders Health precinct up the hill and make an appointment there with a GP or a nurse to go through your vaccinations and have any vaccinations that you might need. Remember, do that TB screening first, okay? Take your little blue book, if you've got one of those little blue books from when you were a kid, or take your immunisation records. If you're from overseas, you need to have those records, okay? Get mum and dad to send them to you because they're really, really important to provide that evidence that you've had these vaccinations. The doctor then completes this form, okay, and signs it down the bottom, and that is uploaded to InPlace. This is a really important part of your compliance. Okay, so it's chickenpox, it's polio, measles, mumps, rubella, all of those things that you might have had when you're a little baby, but we need evidence of you having them. Okay, so just going back to the website, zooming up here. So then there's the CPR manual handling. There's quite a few compliance things that you can do online too. Okay, so there's hand hygiene, there's EMR, which is your electronic medical records. So a lot of hospitals do medical records electronically rather than paper-based, although some are still paper-based. There's blood safe about blood transfusion. Those things can be done online at any time. Okay, so you can get them nailed. You could even do them tonight. All right, and then you've got 3 or 4 things done straight away. There's mask fit test as well, which is done here on campus on level 2 in the West Wing. Had to think about that for a minute, West Wing. And that's important to do because if we ever go into a COVID situation again where we're required to wear extensive PPE and those really tight-fitting masks to protect us and protect our patients, that's when we need those mask fit done. Okay, so we need everyone to have that mask fit because as we've learnt from recent years, we never know when we're going to require those things again, even though we hope we don't go into that situation again. Okay, so that's really important. That'll fit you with an N95 mask. There's more information here around your DHS clearances. There's a DHS website. You can go to those websites and apply directly through them. Okay, I would be applying for any of these documents through this website. It gives you everything you need. All right, so international police clearance, your normal police clearance, immunisations, vaccinations, that's where you find that little compliance certificate that I showed you before. Talks about Hep B immunity. Now we're seeing a lot of students nowadays that are not immune to Hep B, so they're Hep B non-responders, and that's okay if you are. You can still go on placement. You just meet with myself or Ying to discuss how we can keep you well and safe on placement, okay? Because there are a lot of people that are Hep B non-responders, all right? Yeah, if you were a Hep B non-responder, we just don't send you to high-risk areas, which are areas like operating theatre or ED, where you might be in situations where your hand may be in a cavity of some sort that you can't see what's going on and you might get a cut or something like that, okay? So we don't send you to high-risk areas. It doesn't mean that you can't work in those areas as an RN, though. They're strategies that you put in place with your employer at that time and you can work in those areas later. Okay, we go down, CPR, manual handling, that's all done through IntelliLearn, or there's lots of other areas that do them as well. I would recommend you book into them ASAP because they book up really quickly as well. Okay, so the sooner you can get in and do them, the better. There's information about uniform, and I see Danelle's got one of our beautiful new uniforms here. So we're still working with Valerie Travers around getting that. Apart from that, it's blue or black pants. Scrubs are really good, really comfortable. Filled in black or blue, preferably leather shoes. Okay, you don't want anything that's not waterproof for obvious reasons. If you're carrying bodily fluids and you trip or something falls, you don't want to wear that on your shoe. Okay, or if it does go on your shoe and you've got something that's waterproof, your socks are okay. All right. You need to get an ID badge as well. And there's information about getting your ID badge too. Any facial piercings need to come out. Earrings, I wouldn't be allowed to wear these earrings, okay? We have to have just studs, something that, you know, potentially, if you're working with people and people are a little bit confused or they're agitated, they might pull earrings, pull a necklace, and might hurt you, okay? So you need to be safe in what you're wearing as well. We'll come to your question in a minute. All right, so you'll see a lot of students walking around in their uniform. When you're in the nursing labs, you are required to wear uniform, okay? Watch, you need to wear a fob watch as well, so nothing below the wrist. So my watch, when I go into the lab, I need to take that off, okay? Rings, only plain rings. Can't wear your beautiful diamond ring in the labs or on placement because you're working with patients, you're working with bodily fluids. If your ring gets that sort of thing on it, then you're taking that home in your ring. Okay, your nice diamond ring now has lots of bugs on it that you're taking home. Okay, nails, plain, not shellac, not what else are there? I don't do my nails, so what is there? Extensions, whatever. No nail polish, nothing like that because that harbours germs underneath. If you've got long nails, that will scratch patients. You're going to be working with people with really, really fragile skin. Okay, you can cause nasty wounds to patients with long nails.
It is not the most fashionable industry, but you can go nuts with your socks.
Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Yeah. You will see people wearing fun scrubs Friday when you're out there on placement. You guys can't do that though. Okay. We need to make sure that you are identifiable as a student nurse at all times to protect you. Because if you were wearing Fun Scrubs Friday, you look like everyone else on the ward, and someone will come up to you and say, can you go and do this to that patient in that bed? And you'll stand there going, I don't know what that means and I don't know what to do. Okay? So it protects you. All right? You need to be visible and identifiable as a student at all times. Preclinical meetings we've talked a little about. There's a bit about SA Health placements there that you can click on. Fitness for practice is really important. As I said, if you've got an underlying medical condition, that can be whatever, that might affect your ability to work as a student nurse. Do the fitness for practice. We meet with you. We talk about strategies. Okay? Doesn't mean that you can't work as a nurse, depending on what's going on, but we meet with you and discuss that. We've talked about attendance during placement. Medications, you won't do any medications until second year. And when you do medications, your RN has to be right there with you, right at your elbow, okay? You cannot do anything unsupervised because that's acting outside of your scope of practice and puts you at risk of failing, okay? We don't want that to happen. So scope of practice will be something that is nailed into you as you go along in your degree, in the labs and also in shoots. Okay, really, really important that
when
you're
in
acting.
doubt, ask, and if your
Yes.
RN says just give that medication, you say no, because if you give it, you'll be pulled off placement and it'll be a fail for the topic, right? Because it's outside of the scope that we've taught you and that you're allowed to practice in.
So you have to have those one-liners ready to go, okay? Because the RN might say, you might be in your 8th week of placement, and the RN says, I trust you, just go and give them to Fred in bed 10. Okay, you can't do it. They have to be with you. You don't want to fail on the last day of placement, and it happens. Okay, that's why I'm telling you this happens. Okay? Rural placements, and then we'll talk about working on placements. So rural placements, we offer such a wide range of rural placements, and rural placements are really, really good experiences. Okay? So if you, I'm an intensive care nurse, all right? Danelle's an ED nurse. Okay? In our working careers, we have, we've got the helicopters that fly around, right? They deliver patients to ICU and ED all the time, right? But I've really never had anything to do with them because I'm working in ICU and Danelle's working in ED. They might come in, but they'll be fleetingly in and go to ICU. But if you're in a rural environment, you're going to see all that stuff happen, okay? You're going to be working with that patient who comes in, who's deteriorating, who the doctor says, right, yep, we need to get this patient down to Adelaide in the next 15, 20 minutes, whatever. And the next minute, the helicopter's landing and you're getting this patient ready to go on the helicopter. You're not going to get those experiences in Adelaide. The helicopters don't land at Flinders to take a patient to the Royal Adelaide, okay? You are not going to see that here. Only time you're ever going to see that sort of stuff is out in the rural environment, okay? So it's really, really, really good experience going rural. If you were allocated to Flinders Medical Centre orthopaedic ward, you're going to have a ward of orthopaedic patients. Hips and knees, as far as the eye can see, okay? But if you go to a rural location, in that ward, you're going to have someone come in with dizziness. You're going to have an 80-year-old in that bed who's had a fall. You're going to have a 5-year-old in that bed who's fallen off their trampoline and got a broken arm. You're going to have someone else come in with an MI. Amazing experience. Okay, you're going to get that real diversity of experience that you do not get in Adelaide. Okay, so rural placements are really, really good. So the other thing... Oh yeah, an MI is a heart attack, sorry. You'll get to know that. All this lingo. As a nurse, there's so many abbreviations. Okay, you will get to know those abbreviations. It's like a different language sometimes, isn't it? When you're on placement, the other thing is you cannot work. Okay, so when you're on placement for 2 weeks, 4 weeks or 8 weeks, you're not allowed to work in your other work because you're at risk then. You're at risk of putting your patients at risk, okay, and the venue that you're going to. So if I was working as a carer and I worked an early shift and then I worked a late shift as a student, I just worked 16 hours. That's not safe, okay? You can't function. When you're on placement, you need to be learning. You're going to be learning so much. It's going to be information overload. Your brain's going to be buzzing, okay? So you need to be fresh. You need to be on task. You need to be having good sleep, eating well, all of that sort of thing. So you can't work. So what you need to be doing now is setting up a placement bank account. so that when you're on placement, you've got money set aside. So every week you put a bit of money into that account, okay? And that might cover your petrol, your food, your rent, whatever, for that period of time. If you start doing that now in first year, by the time you get to those bigger placements for 4 weeks and 8 weeks, you're going to be fine, okay? But you cannot work. If you're working on placement, that is unsafe and you will end up being pulled from placement. Okay?
Can I just add to that? Because I know that someone will ask the question. Someone will ask, can I work weekends?
No.
Jody's saying no.
Because if you're working weekends, so in a job, you work 40-hour week, right? If you're on placement, that's what you'll work. Okay, you'll do generally 5 8-hour shifts. In some environments, you might do 10-hour shifts, you might do 12-hour shifts, okay? But you can't work on top of that because then you're working 7 days a week and not getting any rest, okay? So you can't work at all right? So just set up that placement bank account, put money aside so that when you do go on placement, you've got all that money there, okay? And you'll look at that and go, yes, I'm rich, I'm ready for placement, okay? If you do go to a rural environment, as I said, we go everywhere. Cooper Pedy, Victor Harbour, everywhere. Port Lincoln, okay? Some venues will have accommodation on site, so you'll stay at the hospital in the nurses' quarters, okay? Some places, some towns have university accommodation that you'll be able to access. Some places don't, and you'll be able to book a hotel or a caravan park or whatever. Okay, there is reimbursement for a percentage of that cost for placement, for petrol, for accommodation, all of that sort of thing. And that is found in here, the reimbursement policy. Okay, same with the Northern Territory. If you go to the Northern Territory, you might fly up there, you might decide to drive up there. Okay, it's really exciting going to the Northern Territory and going rural. The whole thing's really exciting. Nursing's really exciting. We've been doing it for a long time. Too long. Won't tell you how long. Okay. What else have we got there? That's probably about... Oh, really? Have we got some questions that you want to ask now?
So I'll get Jody to do that side and we'll just alter the questions. So if you want to go to someone...
Thank you for waiting patiently. Yep.
I just wanted to know if you can wear steel-toe boots, if they're allowed.
You can, yes, you can, as long as they're comfortable. You need to be on your feet. As a nurse, plan to never sit down, okay? Basically, you are going to be on your feet for 8 hours. You might sit down on your break, all right? So you need comfortable shoes. You need comfortable shoes that are waterproof for the reasons we talked about before, and you also need shoes that if you are doing an injection and you drop the needle, it doesn't go straight into your foot. Okay, so you want shoes that are going to protect your feet as well. So yeah, if they're comfy, go for it.
So I have a question. If you're doing work placement, for an example, in Darwin, do you have to find your own accommodation?
So in Darwin, we've got some university accommodation, but what happens if you are... So generally for first year, we only send students to the Northern Territory if they have family in the Northern Territory or they originate from the Northern Territory, okay? So second and third year, if you get an NT placement, you'll be provided information about accommodation from the placement team. That will all be sent to you, okay? Next.
So if we have family, for example, working in management in hospitals, would we have to disclose conflict of interest before a placement?
It would be a good idea because if you went to Flinders Medical Centre orthopaedic ward and your mum was the NUM, which is the nurse unit manager, that might be awkward. It puts you in a difficult position and it puts the staff in a difficult position. Okay, so yes, it would be advisable, yep.
In terms of our checks and everything, I'm from the Gold Coast, so say I've got my TB screening and NDIS, would I have to redo those because I'm here now?
I would think so,
yeah.
But you can check with the placements team, okay? Just flick them a quick email or go down and talk to them after this. Yep.
There might be just some differences in state policies that might change that, but again, placements.
Yeah, every state is different, so you're best to just have a look.
Sorry. So when we talk about the evidence from overseas regarding hepatitis A, B, and so different countries has different standards and evidences. So what, do you look something specific in that evidence, or what is acceptable?
What you need to provide is evidence of hepatitis B vaccination. So as long as you can provide that from your country of origin, that's okay. If you can't provide that, that's when you need to go to your GP and say, I need these vaccinations.
Okay.
Yep. Is there anyone else on this side? Can someone pass that back to that? Hang on, we got one down here first. Yep.
So as a student nurse, are you allowed to administer insulin while under the guidance of the RN?
Depends on your year level and your scope of practice and the venue policy. Okay? So everything depends on what you've done in the labs, what year you're in, your scope of practice, again that word, scope of practice, and also venue policy. So, one example is third years can do a certain thing, but then if they go to Salin, which is Flinders Medical Centre, they won't allow students to do that certain thing unless they're in ICU. Okay? So the venue policy will always outweigh everything else. Okay? So airy-fairy response there, but comes down to venue policy and scope. There was another question. You got one over there? Yep.
Yeah, do you pick which placement is rural, like whether it's the 2-week, 6-week or 8-week?
Yep, good question. So every semester a rural self-selection process will be sent out to students, and it's really first in, first served. Okay? So it'll go out to, potentially 500 students, and there might be 50 rural placements. One of those placements might be at Cooper Pedy, one might be at Victor, one might be somewhere else, and you might really want to go to Cooper Pedy. You need to be really lucky to get that. Okay, you need to be on that EOI really, really quick. So yes, that does come out every semester. So you can choose to go to a rural placement for whatever placement block you want to. But you will get really good experiences in rural. Yep.
With the first year Darwin placement, if you have family that live part-time in Darwin, like do FIFO work, can you go up there on placement?
We would talk to you about that. We'd probably have a meeting with you to discuss that, because as a first year student, you haven't done placement before, so we like to keep you close, but we know if you've got supports up there, you've got accommodation, all that sort of thing, we could consider that. But we would need to set up a bespoke placement for you for that.
And I would recommend to you, now I'm from the Territory, so I did all my nursing in the Territory and worked in ED in the Territory, and I would recommend to you that if you're going to apply for the expression of interest for the Northern Territory placement, you do it as a second year at the minimum, because if you just go there to do your aged care stuff, you're not going to see the amazing stuff that you would normally see. So
I agree.
I'd hold that for second year.
Absolutely agree. There was someone over this side. I answered it before. Anyone else? Yes? Hang on. Whip, whip. Getting my steps up today.
How will your placement be decided? Like that for us, or do we put in some interest that we would like to?
Yep.
Yeah.
So there's the rural expression of interest that you can do when that opens. That's called the rural self-select, and that will come out via email in every placement block. You can email us and say, I really want to work in ICU, I really want to work in peds, can I get a placement there? We can put that, or the placement team can note that on your file, but can't guarantee anything. Apart from that, placements are decided based on the placement team look at your location, where you live, so your placement in place needs to have an accurate address, and we look to give you a range of placements. So within the degree, we are required to provide you with a range of placements, including aged and a specialty. Okay, so you will do aged care at some point in your degree and a specialty at some point in your degree as well, and the rest will be gen med, surge, that sort of thing. Down here.
I'm just wondering, is there certain stages, like, because I know that you said the placements are selected at certain points, but if something like changed in your life or you couldn't do it, are you eligible to then do it at a different time? Does there have to be a specific like application or something for it?
placements are very rigid, extremely rigid. So it would depend on what the circumstances were, and we would work with you one-on-one. Extreme circumstances, we might be able to do something, but generally no. Placements are placements.
If you have, and I alluded before about hiccups that happen in life, and you are unable to do your placement, but you've done that, say your 4 weeks of your online work, if you can't complete the placement, you can't complete the topic. So you need to determine then, is this the right time? Do I need to do a leave of absence? Because you can take a leave of absence. So if you absolutely can't do that placement at that time, and you've had those discussions with placements, unfortunately it just means that you will just have to do it the following year. And that's why I talked about your study plan, how it can be altered, amended to account for life hiccups that do occur. Yeah.
Hang on, right up the back here. Really getting my steps up now. There you go.
The NT placements, because you said that we put an expression of interest in the rural ones, is that included in the NT ones?
That comes out separately. So that will again come out every semester for NT placements, and there will be a list of what's available in the Northern Territory, and you can apply for what you would like to go to.
And does that have like an area on there, like you can say whether you have family up there, if you have accommodation already there?
Absolutely. And if you've got accommodation up there, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah.
Really good, yeah. And as I said, we go Darwin, Alice Springs, Nullarbor, Tennant Creek, and Catherine.
Yep. And your rural ones also include like Yank and Victor Harbour. But if you've got relatives who live rural and it's around the time you're doing your placement, that's free accommodation, good chance to catch up and do a placement at the same time.
Yep.
If we have already done our TB screening before, to do it again?
Yes. Yes.
Can you repeat that, Jodie?
If you've already done TB screenings, do you need to do it again? Yes, you'd need to go through that SA Health link again. Okay. Any other questions as I'm coming down?
I've got one down here. Okay. While you're getting across. Sorry.
With the rural placements, is it only in South Australia and NT, or can you do them across Australia?
We do have some placements in Broken Hill and Mildura, but that's generally as far as we go, and then the Northern Territory. Yep. Sorry, guys.
Is there an opportunity to try on the uniforms before we place an order?
Yes, so you can go to Valerie Travers. I'm hoping to get Valerie Travers to come to us. I'm just waiting on a response to the email. Yes, but usually they come here and have a bit of a stall where you can try things on. Yeah, but scrub pants, you can get them anywhere, online. If they have SA Health on them, no. Okay, so you can't have anything that identifies an employer. They have to be just plain and the Flinders University scrub top. Was there something else down here? They don't, that's correct. This is, I'm hoping very soon. As I said, I'm waiting for an email back.
I mean, this is our sample one. It's going to have Flinders across the back as well, and it's going to have the word nursing student. So there's minor changes to this was our sample. But
we're hoping very soon.
If we already have our uniform top, the older ones, do we then have to update them, or can we keep
We are transitioning, hopefully, for first-year students to this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question behind you, Jodie.
Okay, and one here too. Hang on, guys. Yes, so the deadline will be when your lab is. Okay? And that might vary depending on what availability you're in.
If you don't have your uniform by the lab time, you would be expected to wear appropriate clothing, which is not aerobics clothing with midriffs, it's not torn jeans. It would be appropriate clothing if you don't have one at that point.
Yeah. So you need to wear proper professional dress when you're in the labs. Yeah.
So will we be able to wear the old uniform, or if we've bought the old top, should we be returning that and getting the new one?
Well, at the moment, we're hoping to transition to this for first years.
If you happen to have the old one, no one's going to kick you out of a lab. It's up to you whether that you update.
Yeah. We're just waiting, as I said, waiting to hear back.
We'll just do one more question because I've got a bit more to get through. However, if you have further questions that you think about when you walk away or when we finish and one of us is still here then you can ask us then.
I heard that you have to wear the uniform in your A&P classes. Is that true?
So you'll wear uniform when you're in the labs, and I believe that Janelle will be able to answer that
In previous
question.
years, we had wet labs for AMP. We don't have wet labs going forward, so you don't need to. So for your theory classes, you don't need to wear your uniforms. Some students do, and that's fine. It's up to you. They are absolutely compulsory for labs, but not for classrooms.
All right, I will leave you. It's been a pleasure to meet you all, and I look forward to working with you throughout the degree. And if you've got any questions, go down to the placements team down at the front office, or email cnhs.placements@flinders.edu.au, and they'll be able to answer your questions.
Don't go. I've got half an hour more of quick resources for you that are really important, and then I'll be available for some chats. I've got 2 people coming in for a quick chat for their section. But I just want to be able to point out to you some of the help that's available to help you to succeed in your... only if you can. It's up to you.
I'll just go and answer a phone.
Yeah, okay. So, placement stuff, very exciting, and that's usually what most people turn up here to hear about, and then they might contact me later on to say, oh, I'm really struggling in this area, and it's like, well, there are these resources available. So, one of the big things, I guess, is especially, there's, I suppose, a couple of cohorts that tend to find it a bit challenging, and that's mainly the academic side of it, you know, the step up to university. It's very different to school. The process is different. Writing assignments is different to school. Or I have mature age students who are upskilling and perhaps haven't been to university for many years, and so that suddenly they're having to write essays, which they've written, and they think, that sounds fantastic, I'll hand that in, and then they get it back with a fail, and then they're really distraught. So I see this happen a lot, and that's okay. Okay, so just remember also about things, if you get a fail on an assignment, it doesn't mean 0. It means you've accrued enough, but not quite 50%. So we have lots of things available for you, and you'll find it on your dashboard, Student Learning Support Service, or SLSS. It is on your dashboard, and when you go to this, there's lots and lots of help available. I have linked in first year topics and also the first year the first patho topic to have some workshops alongside their assignments with the Student Learning Support Service, so that you are linked in with them as well. So there are lots of ways that you can learn, so they are available to help you improve your writing. You might not think your writing needs to be improved until after that first assignment. To help you understand assignment requirements. You know, what does an essay mean? What do they mean by a case study? Although most topic coordinators should provide enough information for you to be able to construct this or to guide you with this. They will help you to structure your assignments, maybe help you to express your ideas. There is Studiosity, which is, there it is. It is on your dashboard. Sorry, it's not on your dashboard, it's on your Canvas site. So this is an example of a topic. Down here is Studiosity. This is one element of the student learning support system that is available to help you. And with Studiosity, you can upload your assignments. And you'll get feedback on those. Now, when I say that, the feedback is related to academia, like, oh, that paragraph, you know, where's your paragraph spacing? Or, you know, this whole paragraph is just one sentence, you know, this needs to be broken up or whatever. It doesn't say to you, this is fantastic, you'll probably get a high distinction for it, because they don't know the content. They don't know the topic content. They're just looking at the academic side of it. However, from an academic side, you want to know that you're doing things well. So there is that function. So the Studiosity is available on all your sites, and they will help you go through that. That is online. It's available 24 hours a day. What was the other one that I wanted to talk about? Lots of online resources, which I took that slide out because I had too many slides in there. The online resources, when you go onto them, and again, look at this on your dashboard when you're familiarising yourself with the flow or the Canvas sites, takes you through. You might have an essay, you might have an oral presentation, you might have a workbook or a workshop. There is an explanation for each one of these things, and you go to the links on each of these sites and it tells you how to do it. Okay? Or we have the Learning Lounge here on campus, in the library, Studiosity, or someone's a phone call away. So don't struggle with your academia. The minute you look at your assignments, tonight when you'll go home and go, oh, I need to look at my assignments, and you've got, can't think what's in some of the topics at the moment, but there's certainly case studies, and you're like, oh, what do I do? First of all, have a look at the assignment instructions, because they'll probably outline very clearly for you what you need to do, what headings you need to use. And if there isn't enough in there, then go and have a look at the Student Learning Support Service. They might be able to give you some advice in that area. And again, you can always write to your topic coordinator to say, I don't understand what this assignment's about. Now, I will just say to you, if a student writes to me and says, Janelle, I don't understand assignment 1, what do you want me to write? I won't be able to give you the answer. What is preferable for you to write to me is, Janelle, I've looked at assignment 1 and the question. From this question, I think that you want me to talk about this and explain this and then describe this. Am I on the right track? And I will write back to say, yes, that sounds fantastic. You're on the right track. So I want to hear how you've interpreted the question. All right? Don't ask us for the answer. Ask us for the guidance for you to get to the answer. Okay? So when in doubt, ask, okay? Don't sit at home and go, I don't know how to do this. Don't feel embarrassed. No one's going to see your email except your tutor or your topic coordinator. If you're too embarrassed to ask the question in class, email them. Then you get that one-on-one, okay? But the main thing is ask, because we don't know and we can't help you if you don't verbalise this to us. Library. Love our library. They're a library at all the campuses. A lot of students will go there for quiet place. Students who live perhaps far away, have got a 2 o'clock class or 11 a.m. class, they might come in, sit in the library for a couple of hours, prep, work on assignments, and sort of start doing some work, being here on campus. So use the library for books, access to computers and journals. They have drop-in sessions. They might be able to help you find literature. All right, so you might say, oh, Janelle's given us this really hard assignment in patho, and she wants us to find, signs and symptoms and explain the pathophysiology. Can you help me find an evidence-based journal? And I'm sure they'll be able to help you. All right, just ask. So library, a great resource for study space and obviously for library resources. Student Success and Wellness Advisor. Ta-da! I've got Melissa Suckley, is our Bedford Park person, and she's coming in to talk to this. Sorry, the slide's weird. That was the one I didn't fix up. I'll give you a microphone. This is Melissa Suckley.
Hey guys, how you going? Are you awake? Yeah, hi. Welcome to Flinders, welcome to nursing. There are a lot of you this year. I don't think we were this full last year, Janelle.
This is part 1 of part 2.
So, look, this is a pretty boring slide telling you what I do for work. What I guess I want to talk about is that you're here doing nursing, and we know that you're also doing other things. So some of you are working, some of you might have moved out of home for the first time, some of you might have left home very far away, and some of you might be needing to adjust not only to this place but to this city, this country. Lots of things are going on in your head, lots of changes upon you. At some point during the semester, that all might get a little bit wobbly. And uni might be your lowest priority. And we know that that might happen to some of you, and it might happen in a couple of weeks, or for some it might happen in a year or in 6 months. So if that happens, like Danelle was saying, reach out to your teachers, reach out to Danelle, but you can also reach out to me. So you can come and have a chat with me. We'll work through what's going on for you, and then my role is really to be a bit of a link to other services. So we'll talk about what's going on, and I'll say, okay, let's talk to your topic coordinator, let's see if we can get you a disability access plan, maybe talk to Flinders Uni Student Association about some financial support, and you're not making any friends, so let's go up to Oasis and see if you can make some friends. So that's the type of thing that I work with you on. I don't do stuff for you, I help you make some decisions about what your priority is. I would say with nursing, it's a really structured degree. And so if things do get wobbly, I would encourage you to try and recognise that sooner rather than later. Because if the wheels start to fall off the track, if you start to go towards the way of failing topics, it does extend the length of your degree. You do need to wait sometimes to repeat topics. And that can be really distressing for you, and it can also be really frustrating, and it might cost you more money in the long run. So I guess for you as Bachelor of Nursing students, I would say if you start to feel a little bit wobbly, talk to someone before it gets really, really wobbly. So when Danelle lets you out of this room, down in the cafe and in the courtyard, there's a bunch of services. There's a welcome hub, and they're handing out these new student support and services directories, and that lists every support service at the uni available to you and how you can connect with them, and a link to their website, like a QR code to their website. So you're not going to remember all of this. We know you're not going to remember it all. So grab one of those down on your way to the free sausage sizzle that's down there at 12:30. Okay? As you can see on the slide, you can book in 30-minute appointments with me, either in person, phone or MS Teams. I'm usually working down here at Sturt on a Tuesday, but I can connect with you via phone and Teams on any other day of the week. You also might hear from me if some of your teachers are concerned about you. So they might call me up and say, oh, look, Mel, we haven't seen Peng for a couple of weeks and she's missed an assessment deadline, and I've emailed her but I've got no response. So you might hear from me because they're a bit worried about you and they've tried to contact you and you're ignoring them, which kind of happens sometimes. So don't be surprised if you hear from me when you weren't expecting to. I promise you we're not GPS tracking you or anything. Okay? And you might also hear from me if you do unfortunately fail a topic. So we might reach out to you if we think things are going a little bit wobbly for you. And that's really just to offer support. And what I hope you get out of today and the coming weeks is that we're all about support. And everything we want is for you guys to ask for help if you need it and to get through your studies successfully. So have a great O week. Have a great semester 1. Don't be a stranger if you need help with anything.
Thanks. And it's nice that pretty much everything that Melissa said is things that we've alluded to going through, so you'll see that everyone's on board. We all want to help you to succeed. And quite often a topic coordinator might refer you to Melissa as well. Just some quick slides. Student course representative. I have put this up on the BN course page as an announcement, so we're looking for you to nominate now. It's really nice to have this on your record as a leadership skill that you've done as a student course representative. You know, basically you will meet with me and our year leads a couple of times a year. I just want to know what's going on in the cohort. Is there something out there that we need to fix? I don't know if I'm not at rubbing shoulders with you at the ground level, whereas a student rep is at that point. So you can apply for that. There's information I put on the course information page again yesterday, and email me your interest about that. Wellbeing support, Better You. This is a very new site from the university. When you go to this site, it's just got links to health and counselling, disability, some wellbeing focused events will be advertised there. There might be articles about mental health and wellbeing, but basically it's about supporting you. Not everyone needs, some people are independent and are fine, other people just might want a little bit of help, and that's okay. So it's just another site. Oasis, another slide I'll have to fix up, that Melissa mentioned as well. Oasis is a drop-in space which is up at the hub, and it's a nice 5-10 minute walk up there as well. It's a nice area, free tea and coffee. They have, they still do forest walks, that's good. They have a market day, I think on Thursday, where they have free food and cheap food. It's a place to connect. They've got prayer rooms, quiet spaces, chaplains if you're in need of anything like that. It's just a really lovely place if you happen to be at the hub, just to pop in and check it out so you know what's available there. This one, health counselling and disability. So this is a really important one. So all students are entitled to, I think, 6 free sessions of counselling, and I know they do more than that as well. And so it's all via these links, and these links will also be on your campus site. And they'll be advertised freely and promoted freely through topics as well. Things which are important, which I'll focus on, are the access plans. So an access plan can be for anyone from, for whatever reason you have something that might prevent you from being able to study to the truest ability that you have. So for example, in the past, people who might have learning disabilities but still meet the inherent requirements to be a nurse, so it might be something like dyslexia or something like that that's been diagnosed. It might be let me try and think of a situation. A single mum, I know of a situation in the past, a single mum, she had some kids, 2 young children with disabilities, and so she just needed a little bit extra. So that sort of person was able to apply for this access plan. So an access plan is basically something that supports you in your study. It might mean that because of a learning disability or because of a situation that you have, you might require to get up out of class every hour and stretch or do something. And so that was what will be written in this plan. It might require that you might need some extension requests, but you can't go to a doctor every week to get, for whatever reason. So this access plan, a doctor has to provide all the details of your life on this access plan. It then goes to the disability area. They assess it, and then they give you an access plan that doesn't have any of that information on, because no one else needs to know that information. But as a topic coordinator, you are to send it to me, and I read on there and go, okay, Mary Jane needs an extra 10 minutes per hour for an assessment or for a quiz. So then I can allow for that in my topic, for example. Or Mary Jane, is there any Mary Janes here? Hope not. Mary Jane needs, might need to have an extension on her assignment. They can have up to this sort of amount of time. So it's all there so that to help that person to learn. So if you feel that you might meet those requirements, and not everyone does, but people who really need it, we have those things to help you to be able to still learn on track, on time with everyone else. All right, so that's about equity and equality. International services. I'm going to introduce Peng. Hello, Peng. Peng, I've got 3 slides here. This is another support area that we have for our international students.
I think I'll just do the one slide.
Yeah, that's fine. Which one do you want? This one or?
This one. Yeah.
Can I put the frequently asked questions one up on screen so they can read it?
Yeah, absolutely. Good morning, everybody. My name is Peng and I work for International Student Services. Hands up if you are an international student. Excellent. Okay, so domestic students, you can take a break. This really doesn't apply to you. But for all international students, I am your first point of contact. It's gone. I was going to show them my lovely team. This is our team. We work up in the hub, level 1. So if you haven't seen International Student Services, please come and visit us. So basically our job is to assist you. If you have issues regarding your studies, your confirmation of enrolment, your visa, you want to know a bit more about your visa requirements and what does that mean, you can come and speak to ISS. We also do really fun things on campus as well and off campus. So we are here to make sure that you have a great student experience. We also have great activities that we run throughout the year. So if we send you something and you receive it in your email, please look at the email because it's always something fun for you to do. I think that you can put the next slide on. We do have frequently asked questions for all international students, and I'm sure a lot of you may be thinking the same thing. So have a read of this. However, today we do have a stall set up, and it is just in the cafeteria. So please come and say hello if you're an international student, and if you've got any questions. Now, I need to also ask the international students, have you registered for the welcome event that is happening on Friday? I should be seeing more hands up.
Yeah, and it has been promoted through the BN page.
It's been promoted everywhere, pretty much. You would have received an email. If you haven't registered, please do. Registration's closed today. We would encourage you all to come because it's a great day. It's pretty much a party, and we just basically like to welcome our students in style. So please come along. It's going to be a lot of fun, and you'll get to meet the rest of the team. If you want to contact International Student Services, this is our details. And you can also come and visit us. We come out to Sturt every Tuesday, and also we're also based in the other campuses as well. So if you haven't already, say hello to us. Come down to the cafeteria and also say hello. We are very friendly. We're here to help, and we're here to make your experience at Flinders great. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, Peng. See you tomorrow. Right, so you can see we have lots of services available for lots of students, and for all students there will be something for everyone, okay? One thing as I was listening to Peng, that I probably didn't have a slide about was the Flinders University Student Association, so FUSA. Melissa talked about Oasis and FUSA. FUSA is your club for you, so if you're after networking, you want to join sports clubs, they do academic advocacy, so quite often students, sometimes one of my role is to see students who haven't passed many topics. So every semester I get a list of students who might have not been very successful with a couple of topics, and so they're asked to come and see me, and we have a little chat, and I talk about what services I can offer to help you to succeed and to see what's going on and how can I help you. So, you know, sometimes students will bring a FUSA advocate. So that is just someone who'll come along, perhaps they don't have a friend, or perhaps they don't want to meet a topic coordinator by themselves, and the FUSA advocates will just come along and be there just to be there for them. Sometimes a student is so stressed they can't take on board what's being said, and so that person is there also. So quite often, if you need an advocate for you, or you feel like you've been wronged, sometimes FUSA is the first place to go. They also offer at FUSA cheap student loans, lots of freebies like diaries and stuff, emergency accommodation, like, you know, if there's something really urgent going on. So there's lots and lots of stuff. So that's another service that is student-centred and is there for you specifically. Jungarinthi, so this is an association which is up the hill, up the hub, but I think that we have a room down here as well, and I would have just put out yesterday the resources on a PDF for you, and the updated location of that is in that PDF for the Jungarinthi. So this is for our Aboriginal Torres Strait Islander students. It's they offer a safe place for you to study. They have computers, they have printers, they have people who can help you through your studies and advocate on behalf of you as well. So it's just another service that is offered for our very multicultural students that we have. So again, so what I want everyone to take away from today, and I'm sure you've remembered it all, is the bottom line from all of this is the fact that we're super glad that you're here. We're super thrilled that you've chosen nursing. It's an amazing industry. There is just so many opportunities for you, all right? And if you don't know what sort of nurse you want to be right now, that's okay. Because there are probably things you haven't thought about, which is where you might end up. I recall when I was a student doing my very first placement, and to be honest, I hated it. Shh, don't tell anyone. And I thought, oh, what am I doing? I've dedicated 3 years, what am I going to do? Got through it, so that's fine. Second year placement, still not loving it. But it was a bit more interesting. Hung in there. Then in third year, I did a placement in ED. I walked through the doors and it was like, oh, I love it. Blood and guts and gore. It's what suited me. I was a fast thinker. It was good. That was me. And I felt at home straight away. So don't feel that in that first year or two that, I don't think this is for me. Give it a go. Okay, there are so many areas in nursing. You could end up in research, all right, changing the world in doing things like that. There's oncology and renal, and there's just, I've got like pages and pages of different areas that you can go into. And again, you don't know what you want to do. You don't know what you want to do until you start playing in that area. Usually a lot of the first years, and some of you may be in my class because I'm working in 1020, I'll usually ask you, what do you think? Why did you want to be a nurse? And, do you actually know what you want to do? I get so many students who say, yeah, I want to work in ED. Or I want to work in PEDS. They're the two that I get. It's not like it is on TV, just so you know. And usually by the end of their course, a lot of them have changed that because they've been out there and suddenly they're working in an area, they might be working in oncology or a neuro ward, and suddenly it's like, yeah, that really clicked for them. So, if you have a vision, fantastic, work towards it. But don't close off to all the opportunities that are out there, because there are so many opportunities of things that you can do, things that suit your lifestyle. Maybe you can't do shift work. Get a job at a GP. or a community clinic or something like that. All right, so there is so much out there. And then, and again, I know you're not thinking about it right now, but once you find that niche, specialise. Do a grad cert. Expand your skills. Right? Every time you do something more with your studies, another door opens. Suddenly, you might be progressing from being an RN to being an educator because you've gotten another qualification, because suddenly you're an expert in the renal ward or something. All right? So it is lifelong learning. Nursing is lifelong learning, and it really is for life. And I'm sorry, it doesn't stop after 3 years. It is continual professional development that you need to do to keep up to date with things. So I don't think I have any more slides. That's just all the stuff that's going on. I know there's a sausage sizzle. I'm going to sort of wrap it up now. I am here, and Jodie, thank you for staying. As here, if you have any questions that you want to come to us at the front for. Other than that, I look forward to seeing you around campus and in class. Enjoy the day.